can't do it.
They're like the 12 lows.
I spent $225 on
They're
those
like the
shoes, and I
Payless
can't
shoe
do it.
bronze.
Yeah, they're freaking suede. They look nice, but like they're nothing special. I'm still not gonna wear them. I'm gonna ruin them. They're like $200.
Let me know when you're getting ready to go, so I can breathe.
You ready to breathe?
Yeah,
You good? Oh, you got a cider boy too?
It's
Which one are you chugging?
Well, I'm chugging that.
chug the cider boy.
Okay, so you got to
can do
move. Yeah, you can put it.
That looks
wherever-
good.
You want to have it close,
Okay,
somewhat
gotta be
like
like right up.
directional, but yeah, just so it's not like, so you can be seen at least. Unless you don't want it, then you can put it right in front of you. Obviously that's yours. You don't have to look at it, but if you want to say something directly to the camera, that's you. If it's on 4, well, you can see the laptop. It's on you. Jesse's 2, Chris is 3.
Balls.
I don't think you just pay attention to that, but ready?
Yeah.
Cool.
Whoa, wait.
Whoa. What?
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I do too.
There's like a in my ears.
Come here.
You hear
it too?
I don't hear anything.
You're the only one not hearing it. Just
Now
went
it's
away.
good. You moved
I wonder
that,
if it was my phone.
and now it's good.
I moved them.
Whenever you move that,
No, you're still good.
Still good.
Don't hear anything. I put my phone right there, and I'm wondering if it was coming
Some
from
type
that.
of frequency thing.
No, nothing.
Not right now. It's good.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
Put your phone back.
Yep.
That's it.
The phone. Okay, cool. So
Get your fucking phone off it.
I said I'd keep
Yeah,
this over
amateur
here.
hour over here.
I don't normally put it right there. It's normally here, but all right. So we are good. You guys ready?
Anybody got any more jokes? No? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Highlights of the news: traffic accident. Run. A Beaver County man is being held for murder. More later.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started.
We talk sports on the show?
I was waiting for your now cue. I was waiting for you to cue me in now.
Oh, now. Start the show now.
What's going on, y'all? This is Made to Motivate podcast, season 4, episode 14. This is your host, Ryan Weiss, and I'm joined as always by Christopher, the Film Freak Kessinger.
Oh!
The fuck?
Changed it up.
The new dawn has started.
This is why you're not going to the draft, yes.
I see how it is. That's why you got third.
That's okay.
And Jesse,
That's why you guys will be third in the division this
from
year.
Sports Illustrated. How's it going, sir?
It's going fine, I guess.
Nice haircut.
Thanks.
And he means both of us. That's why we're both going to be third this year.
Yeah, what did Chris do? Then what's your excuse
What?
for not going to the show? I mean,
For not going to the draft?
Yeah.
I'm
'Cause my
white.
dad's taking my brother, and I didn't want to split between the two of you.
Oh.
So I took Nick.
I'm white.
Yeah, and he's white. Nick's Italian.
So am I.
That's true.
Yeah, debatable.
I'm Irish. I'm as white as
You're
it
a
gets.
Steelers fan, though.
Okay. Anyways, and we've got a special guest, the one and only, very much talked about, best gamer of all time, Cullen. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Cullen does some. Is it professional gaming? You call it that?
It's like
Is there another name for it?
it's more like
I don't know how that goes.
amateur professional. It's like professional to like next level.
Yeah.
You're like the arrows of
Yeah,
gaming right
exactly.
now, but you're on your way up to the Indians.
Yeah, that's cool. So, I mean, Cullen does some professional level gaming, and we'll talk to him about some of that amongst all of our other show things.
I like that you said arrows. Fuck him, Babby.
Yeah, absolutely. I second
Damn
that.
right.
What is new and exciting since last week, gentlemen? Jesse, anything new and exciting other than the
Dude.
haircut?
Well, the haircut, that's the biggest thing. I got into the whole crypto craze.
Yes, you did.
All of this Doge stuff happened.
Space coin.
You fucking
Dude.
guys stop posting this
Moonbot.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you have to post so the people know.
Stop.
This is an official podcast exclusive disclaimer by
my
us
gosh.
to buy Dogecoin, SafeMoon, and Hogecoin. Buy it now and hold it.
I will allow that one. I will not
So-
disclaimer it.
So I did the Doge thing when it first started out, and I got it for like 6 cents, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's never gonna last. It's never gonna do this or that." So I made like $700 off of it, And I bought in, I sold, I bought in, I sold, I made $700, blah, blah, blah. Now it's up to like 40 cents. If I'd have just held that shit, I'd have made like $8,000.
I'm up.
So super salty about it. So I started searching. I'm like, well, it's not going to be the only time that this happens. It happened with Bitcoin. Nobody believed in it. It happened with Ethereum. Nobody believed in it. Now Dogecoin's doing it. So I went and found the next
You just
thing.
got to be willing to hold it for a while.
Patience. Yeah.
So I went and I bought Dogecoin. And Dogecoin is like, they're trying to do what Dogecoin did with like the whole meme thing.
Yeah.
But they're actually like, because like the thing with Doge is 5 billion coins are made every day.
Yeah.
So it's like if we were just printing off $5 billion in America, people would flip their lid. They'd be like, it's not going to be worth anything. So that's like the same mentality with Doge.
Right.
Doge started with like, I don't know, like 1 trillion coins or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And every single time like a transaction is done, 2% of that is gone.
Yeah.
So 1% of it goes back to all the holders, everybody who owns it, and then the other 1% just gets completely like erased.
So, but here's the thing. Do you think it holds, do you think it's going to have as much momentum and stuff as it does as Doge? Because Doge has got Musk.
It's
pushing
hit the
him.
top 10 coins list on like major exchanges all throughout the last couple of weeks. So I'm thinking that
But do you think people are going to pull from Doge to buy? Or you think people are just going to buy?
you don't have
more?
to just buy more.
More,
It's
yeah.
because it's super cheap right now. You
Yeah.
don't want to buy into Doge now that it's at 40 cents.
No.
So everybody's going to be going, okay, what's the next big thing? I'm going to go for
Yeah.
this. So then once I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is like 1/10 of a cent to get in. So I'm like, what's even lower than that? What can I find that's lower than
Jeez.
that? So I start seeing all these people commenting about this Safe Moon. And I'm like, what the fuck is Safe Moon? And like, I don't know if it's legit or not, but like the logo looks really, really nice. And some of those
Got a
logos
cool
look
logo,
janky,
so-
but I see all these people talking about it. So I go and I look at the price and it's like in the 10,000ths of a cent.
Yeah.
So I spent $75 and bought 27 million coins.
Wow.
And
That's crazy.
I have tripled my money in a day.
Yeah.
I'm up to $250 right now.
I mean, it's cool. It's just, again, you have to be willing to hold out.
Yep.
It's going to be small increments of profit, and it's going to be the long game. I mean, Bitcoin took 10 years.
If Safe
to
Moon
get
gets
where
to a
it's at.
penny, I'll make $270,000 off of a $75 investment.
That's why.
And I don't anticipate it going that high, but I'm going to hold it until then.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold it forever because
'Cause
I fucked up with
that's
Doge
your
and
kid's
I'm not
college
messing
fund.
up again. It's more than that. It's
'Cause
all
why-
my debt, my house, and
You're only out $75 even
Right.
if it doesn't. So it's like, yeah,
right. If it
yeah.
tanks, whatever. Spend $75 on a dinner.
Right.
It's true. Red Lobster.
So Jesse's buying
So if I just
all of the
disappear,
cryptos.
if I disappear off the face of the map, just know
He's in
it
space.
It hit.
Spending the space bucks.
That's right. I'm on the moon.
Christopher.
Just don't know what we'll tell Stephanie. Anyway, but
I'll take her. She let me do this.
It's so nice of you to take your wife with you to space. You are a true gentleman.
After she has the baby, of course.
Oh, I guess so.
which one is owned by the millionaire? What's his name? The genius. The
Elon Musk.
Musk?
yeah.
He just backs
He
Doge. doesn't
backs
own it.
Doge,
Oh,
but he
okay.
doesn't own it.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
he's
now
pushing it,
we're
though.
trying to get him to push Safe Moon because, like, dude, you're fucking space guy. Like, push that shit, pump it.
Jeez. Christopher.
Had kind of a busy weekend. Had a golf game going on. It was so anticlimactic though. Dane pretty much just dominated the other two competitors.
Tom Ruckman.
Yeah, Tom Ruckman
What a
played
bum.
pretty
Tom
rough.
talks a lot of trash to be that terrible.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I brought my own putter. I'm gonna come in and be the best. And then
Oh,
what
I
did he
haven't-
lose by? Like,
I
eight?
haven't played in like 6 months, guys. I mean,
8
come on.
strokes?
To be fair, he was down 16 at halftime. So like, I mean, just the fact that he got it that close was pretty impressive.
So the guy takes it easy on him. That's not an
to be fair,
excuse.
he got third
yeah,
in his group. He got last.
yeah, he did. That's right.
Yeah.
I thought he beat Jesse for some reason.
No, he's a bum.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But after that, checked out Chapel Hill Mall, which is
Dude.
closed yesterday. Yeah, it was a ghost town in there all freaking day. We were there for probably 2 hours, and I don't even know how we squeezed that much out of it. There was like
You spent 2 hours at that mall?
there was like 6 stores open. Like I went in literally every store that was open.
I don't know how you even spent 2 hours.
I don't think I spent 2
Yeah.
hours in that mall when it was fully open.
I was taking pictures mostly.
Yeah, I mean, just doing the nostalgia thing.
there was
Yeah.
so many pictures I took that I didn't even post. I only posted, I think, 8 of the main ones.
I gotcha.
But there's like, down hallways and dark corridors and all that. Yeah, it was depressing, man. It's what kind of surprised me was like Foot Locker was still in there, and they looked like they were doing pretty well. Like everybody who
Hot
was
Well, that's
Topic?
because
What was
all
the store?
10 people were in there from the whole.
right.
What are the stores that were still open at the time?
Hot
you were
Topic's
there?
gone now, I think.
Yeah, Hot Topic was
They were
gone.
already gone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Foot Locker was up there. There was a place called Stitches, which is like a
Yeah.
urban kind of suit wear.
That lasted a while. That's been there for a minute.
Yeah. Journeys was there. There was that one Asian restaurant that was open. That was the only one in the whole food court.
Were the stores having sales?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. Especially that Stitches. Like I almost went in there and bought a suit. Seriously.
Stitches, I could see doing it because they're like a one-off.
Mhm.
But like a Journeys or something, I figured they're just going to send their inventory to another store. Like they're not going
Yeah.
to have a sale.
They're chained. So
Yeah.
yeah. And there was one. I thought there was one. No, the other side was completely closed down by like where O'Neill's used to be and like
Yeah.
Dillard's and all that. Yeah, that was all closed. So yeah, I was just walking around taking pictures, and it was pretty dull, man. Kind of
Yeah.
sad just to see nobody came by. And
What's it going to be now?
it's like a business development suite. So like they have like different kinds of like networking. They'll have probably marketing in there, that kind of thing.
Oh.
It's just business
Not
suites.
cool business development then. So it's not going to be like over by Luigi's where they have all those little pop-up shops and stuff.
No,
No, I'm thinking like office space type thing. Yeah, it's not going to be anything good, but at least the space will get used.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It doesn't get torn down and be nothing, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be worthwhile to us.
Yeah, the security guy told me that the only thing that they're keeping pretty much the same with the floor design is they're going to keep the fountain there. So that's going to stay there. They said they're going to get rid of the merry-go-round. They just don't know where they're going to put it yet.
Yeah. Someone will buy it.
Yeah, they're trying to get it down to lock 3.
We should buy it.
That'd be cool.
I wonder how much that thing even costs.
Put it in your
Shit,
backyard.
that thing breaks down every day, man.
No, man, we'll just buy it and we'll
Pablo's
we'll give
carousel.
it to the city and everybody will be like, "Oh, made to motivate, they did this great thing." And then
We'll
we'll
offer
have
them $1.
I'd offer them $1.
We'll offer them $1 and we'll arrange to move it.
I will give you 10,000 Safe Moon coins.
If we did that, do you think Miles Garrett would then agree to be on our podcast?
No.
Okay, just moving on. All
He
right.
would agree if Ryan would just walk over and knock on the fucking door.
Well, we got to go.
Ryan's dad lives next to Miles Garrett, like right next
to
door.
Miles. Yeah, Miles Garrett. It's Miles Garrett's cousin.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Miles Garrett all this time, but
Miles
what the
Garrett.
fuck is Miles Garrett?
I fucking hate you.
We can hear you. Yeah, my dad's neighbor is Miles Garrett. We need to get him on the. You're the sports guy.
I don't know where your dad lives.
All right, we'll go.
Invite me over. I'll go over up to him.
Cullen, anything fun and exciting? Do you have any gaming tournaments this weekend?
Our major tournament's coming up in May, but the new updates coming for Call of Duty, the Warzone nuking and stuff like that. So it's
That's
pretty
cool.
You guys do that like all online as far as the tournaments
Actually,
go?
just went back to LAN, so
Mhm.
I'll be traveling out to Chicago at the beginning of May.
Sweet.
Damn, that's legit.
It's got to feel good too after all this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Well, we'll get into that in the Made to Motivate segment. We'll go over in more detail what you're doing. Sports, movies. Let's get social.
Let's do
What are you guys
movies.
excited
I
about?
can do mine.
Hollywood
yeah.
Report?
That's fine. I'll be the curtain jerker.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! No! Two, Steve! Assemble!
Christopher, the movie guy. What's new and exciting in the world of Hollywood?
Themovieguy.com.
Was my name fucking copyrighted or something?
Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. What's going on in Hollywood?
Not much actually, because this is the most uneventful and boring week for movies that I have ever seen in quite some time.
I added a couple things in there just to spice it up for you.
You did, and we're going to get to those definitely later. I just figured this would be a good week to talk about the summer movie season, which is one of my favorite seasons of the year. Because everything was held back over the last year and mixed with this year's new films, we've got a lot to talk about. We're not going to get into everything, but I'm going to just kind of whiz by 4 months. We'll stop and discuss some things here and there, whatever we're psyched for.
Cool. Sweet.
First of all, we start off next week. Well, this coming week, actually, with Mortal Kombat coming out. I know we talked a little bit about that, and you guys are pumped for that movie. Well, you were kind of reserved about it, right?
I'm hesitant about, I'm not 100% sold on just the preview that I watched of it. I'm hoping that it's good, but I don't know. There's stuff about it that bothered me. So
Cullen, being a video game guy, are you pumped for the Mortal Kombat movie?
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. I wasn't a big fan of like the old one, like back in the 90s or whatever.
95.
This one, I think with all the new stuff they've come out with Hollywood and stuff like that, I think it'll be a pretty cool like movie with action scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I watched so I got a screener of it. Sometimes I'm fortunate enough to get these sent to me by studios, and I got to watch like the first 5 minutes of it yesterday. And in watching it, I was like, man, I'm like, this is so much fun to watch, but I'm like, already I can tell what my number one problem is going to be with this movie.
Is it not good?
It's CG blood and it looks horrible.
See, and that's what I said. The animation, like when I watched that preview, something about the way that they did the CGI and stuff, it just looks tacky to
The
me.
action is stellar. Like I watched one action scene and I'm like, the fighting is great, but I'm like, this it stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped to watch the rest of it. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. So besides that, we're gonna move into May. Wrath of Man, starring Jason Statham. It's Guy Ritchie's newest film. And it's basically Jason Statham has the inside job, as we were talking about those Brinks trucks. So he's going to rob that. And I guess he's like a guy who runs by the details when it comes to that kind of thing.
Is it the standard Jason Statham movie?
Pretty much. It looks like
Yeah.
it. Josh Hartnett's the villain though. So that's pretty cool.
He's still around.
Yeah.
Remember him from 30 Days and Nights. That's like the last thing he made.
Yeah, I think that is the last thing that I really remember him on. After that, we got May 14th, Those Who Wish Me Dead, which is the new Taylor Sheridan movie. Taylor Sheridan was the guy that wrote and directed Hell or High Water, one of my favorite films of 2016. Great Western film. This, too, is a Western starring Angelina Jolie as a survival expert tasked with protecting a teenage murder witness. So I saw a trailer to it. It reminds me a lot of The Client. I don't know if you ever saw that with Sharon Stone, Tommy
It's a
Lee
good
Jones.
movie.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a good movie.
I'm not an Angelina Jolie fan.
No, but have you seen The Client?
No.
The Client is good.
The Client is, it's a lot of fun too. That kid is a badass,
Yeah.
man. May 14th, also Spiral from the Book of Saw.
Yeah.
That I can't wait.
So
for.
we're finally gonna get that. It's
God, I hope that's good.
it's interesting because like I don't know. I've read about this movie and I don't know. Is it a sequel?
I think that it's supposed to be like a copycat in another like completely unrelated
Universe?
Yeah, like it's still the same universe, I think, but I think that these guys aren't connected in any way. It's not part of like that whole. Because like I'm not a huge Saw fan, but I know he had like Disciples and all this other stuff, and it's all ties together. Like I don't think it's any of that. I think this is a copycat in the universe where this has already happened, but it's just supposed to be an average cop who's got to deal with this guy doing all this other stuff.
I wonder if they're gonna erase like the movies, like as far as continuity goes. You know, like maybe after 1 or after 2, they just say the rest of them to hell with it, give it the Halloween treatment.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I agree. It looks pretty good from the trailers. Cruella, we talked a little bit about on this show the week Jesse was out. May 28th, that's coming out. A Quiet Place 2, May 28th. The thing with A Quiet Place is I love the first one. This movie's kind of suffering from delays in the same way that another movie we're going to get to a little later has, in that I feel like they've shown about 4 or 5 trailers for this movie, and every time you're just like, just release the damn movie already.
Yeah.
I don't want to see another trailer. Just
How long ago did the first Quiet Place come out? It's been a long time.
It was 2017, I
Say
think.
it's 3 or 4 years.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, those kids, man, you know, by the time they release this, they're going to be, you know, on the red carpet, and they're going to be as old as Emily Blunt.
That was like Zombieland 2.
Yeah.
That girl changed so much in between those. I didn't even
You
know it was
told
the
me.
same actress.
Yeah, you were
Terrible.
like, that's not the same girl. I'm like, yeah, that's the same girl, Abigail Breslin.
I think this is going to be just as good as Zombieland 2 was.
Ooh, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I didn't like
Which is
Zombieland.
not good.
No, it wasn't good.
We've got Samaritan starring Sylvester Stallone. We're moving into June now. June 4th, Sylvester Stallone playing a long missing superhero. This film's interesting. There's no trailers for it online, but I have to say, reading up on it, it sounds kind of promising. It's a drama, not an action film, which is unique by itself when you're taking the superhero narrative. And yeah, I guess he was involved in some kind of big superhero war, kind of like a civil war, and he just disappeared. So, you know, to see Sylvester Stallone in this role could be promising, you know?
Yeah, I like the idea of doing something different with it.
Yeah, definitely genre wise. Yeah. So after that, I'm going to skip the ambiguous child's movie called Spirit. In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda's stage musical.
That's another one that I feel like has been delayed forever.
It has. Yeah, it was supposed to come out actually June of last year, so about a year later even.
Yeah.
Yeah, musical basically representing like Puerto Ricans and like minorities through the streets, basically telling their tale.
I remember seeing the preview.
The trailers look very vibrant and full of just colorful designs, and yeah, it looks really promising.
Yeah, I think that's getting some Oscar talk when it's all said and done.
Think so?
Yeah,
interesting.
It's so good. I think it looks so good.
One trailer I saw this week that I'm not looking forward to is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which might be the hardest title ever to say 3 times fast. So this is a sequel to the 2017 movie called The Hitman's Bodyguard, starring Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson. Speaking of movies that did not require a sequel, I don't understand why we're getting this. The movie didn't even do good. The first
title
one
sounds so awful.
Yeah, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
So stupid.
It's just like how all those Olympus Has Fallen sequels came out when you didn't need any of those, but they did well.
Yeah.
This will be the same thing. It's going to make money, and they'll make a crappy third one. And it'll be like The Hitman's Wife's Son's Bodyguard.
Where do you
and
go from here? The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard tray
The
of
Hitman's
mascara.
Son's Bodyguard and the Hitman's redheaded stepchild's bodyguard. And
it's like that speech in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well, my cousin's uncle's friend's daughter's brothers saw him at 41 Flavors last night.
So stupid.
You might need a favor someday from Ferris Bueller, you heartless wench.
June 18th, a movie that I've actually already seen and had the non-pleasure of reviewing it is Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway.
Yikes.
Do not see this movie. If you want to see it, just watch the first one 10 times better. Let's see here. We've got Fast 9, June 25th.
I'm liking it.
Am I the only one that's not into these movies?
I'm looking forward to it.
These movies are shit.
Okay.
They've
fun.
They've been trashed since like, which one's the one where they drag the safe? Is that 4?
6.
5. Sorry.
Is it 5? Is it 5?
5 is.
5?
Jeez, I
At
lost
least that
count.
one I was like, I got to suspend my disbelief with this stupid safe, but I was still like, it's an action movie. I could see you doing
It's
that
a
in an action
Mustang
movie.
dragging a freaking whatever it was, 100-ton safe.
You don't think
But-
they're at least fun to watch?
At least that
Story,
one I could
premise
let
aside?
it go.
Oh, that's the only reason you watch them anymore.
Yeah.
You don't watch them for
That's
story.
what I'm
You
saying.
don't.
They're just fun.
when
Yeah.
they drove a fucking, it was a Bugatti or something, whatever car
in
was.
the United Arab Emirates.
It was
or
in
whatever.
Dubai, and
Yeah.
it drives from one skyscraper into
Yeah.
the other skyscraper, and then into the other
It just goes
skyscraper.
around.
And then it's just like, we're okay, everybody's alive. And I was just like, I'm done with these movies now. And then this trailer comes out, and she's like, Dom, there's no bridge. And he's like, I'm going to perfectly maneuver this car to hit this wooden beam and swing us to safety.
The best part in this trailer is when Dom dives through John Cena through the window, and you just see him. He comes out of nowhere. It's a horrible effect. Like it doesn't look real even in the slightest. From a light, from anything, tone of it, nothing looks similar.
I told Steph I'm going to eventually at some point buy all of these movies, but what I'm going to do is whenever our future baby, which I find out the gender of this weekend,
Pablo?
whenever
I'm going girl. I'm calling
they're
girl.
old enough to
I'm calling
figure
it.
it out, or to like watch a movie like that, I'm going to show them the first movie, and then I'm going to show them the last movie.
Oh,
Whatever one we're on, if it's 15 or whatever, that's what they're going to get. And they're going to be like, what the fuck? They're drag racing and now they're in space.
You're eliminating Tokyo Drift, though. That's a fantastic one.
They can watch them all afterwards if they want. I'm
okay,
just
that's
going to tell
fair.
them and be like, look, this is where it's heading.
They-
Do you want to do this?
they said this is the first movie in the last trilogy that they're going to make for this franchise. So there are 2 more of these movies coming after this.
Cullen, Jesse and Chris obviously love the Fast franchise. What is your take?
I enjoy the Fast franchise. I have to agree with Jesse though. It definitely went away from the drift racing that it was supposed to be. But I've watched every single one of them, and I do enjoy them. I own them all.
Dude,
Yes.
They are.
own them all?
Yes.
Oh,
Good man.
That's okay. They are already talking about. So the director of this movie was asked, what do you think about fans speculating that this takes place in the same universe as Jurassic World? And he goes, I'm not denying that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm okay with it.
They got T-Rex.
I'm okay with it.
I mean, the shark is fucking jumped, dude.
They're gonna go and save the dinosaurs in the next movie.
No, that's stupid.
And they've already talked about maybe going to space in the next movie
I
too.
love it.
I'm like, this shit is just,
It's fun.
you might as well show Mickey Mouse. Like,
I would be okay with that.
fucking crazy.
Your main villain is like a B actor like Jason Statham. You've just lost. It's done.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I didn't hate Hobbs and Shaw. I thought it was okay. It was probably the best one in the last like 4 that they've done. I think so.
I didn't see it because I thought it looked trash.
So what the fuck are you doing?
Because it's trash, man. It's
Yeah.
trash.
Watch the movie first.
Nobody wants to watch The Rock and Jason Statham.
I
It's not
actually-
fucking 2006.
No, I actually heard Hobbs and Shaw was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed
From
it.
people that don't like the Fast franchise
It was
at all.
funny.
Yeah. It has kind of like a 70s aesthetic, especially that opening credit sequence. Like you're watching a action film from the 70s. Rounding out June here is a film that I just found out about today. A24, my favorite studio,
Yes.
Zola. This is basically a sexy mind trip movie starring Riley Keough as a stripper who goes on the road and robs all of her clients along the way. But looking at the trailer, it's not just about story, like it's also about aesthetic. There's a lot of vibrant colors that they use. It reminds me a lot of Promising Young Woman.
I was just about to ask you
gonna
that.
say
in
it
that
sounds
regard.
like that.
Yeah. So it definitely feels like the influence is there, but it kind of takes original turns about it that I'm just going to say, just watch the trailer. It's
Was Promising
interesting.
Young Woman A24? It was not, right?
No, it wasn't. It was Neon. I think it was Neon.
I think it was Neon. Neon's like A24 light.
Yeah, Neon is my second favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, A24, I have to see it. July 2nd. This one actually got moved back, so I'll just ignore it. It was The Forever Purge. It got pushed back to December now.
Like another Purge movie?
Yeah, The Forever Purge. It's the last one.
Like it's no longer on a day. We're not doing a holiday anymore. We're just going to purge all the time.
It's the fifth and final one, they've said. And they've released no story details about it. I don't think they've even finished shooting it yet.
What do you think about that franchise? Because I hated the first one. I really liked the
The
second one.
second one's the best one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But the other ones I didn't think were terrible.
Mhm.
But
I like them.
Yeah.
I don't think I
they're
liked
fun
the
to
fourth
watch.
one. I think I liked the second and the third. Didn't like the first and the fourth.
I don't know if I can remember is the fourth one the first Purge?
I think the fourth one was the one with the girl with like the lights all on her car and she
Yeah,
like,
I
kills
liked
the
that
guy
one.
because of the candy bar.
Yeah.
I think
That was
that's
good.
the first-
candy bar.
Yeah, I think that's the first Purge.
body.
Speak of
That was called Purge like Patriot Day or something like that, wasn't it? Patriot
election year.
election year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought
Um
it was good.
yeah, speaking of like confusing titles, the fourth movie in that series is called The First Purge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, so when I'm explaining it to friends, I go, well, my favorite one's The First Purge. Like, oh, the first movie. No, The First Purge.
Yeah.
Fucking just choose a right title. July 9th, Black Widow. So this is the other movie I was talking about that I've lost interest in.
So far, we're not having a great summer.
Yeah, I think we're playing catch up is the problem, but it's going to change with the next movie. I guarantee your opinion's going to change.
You can't find good movies in this month.
Barbed
You
Wire
can't
2.
find good movies anywhere.
It is
Barbed Wire 2. That
pretty close. Space Jam: A New Legacy.
was close.
So your boy LeBron James.
I don't know. Were you excited about that? Yeah, I would say Jesse wasn't excited about
You were
that.
excited
I
about
think
that
that-
movie?
No, I mean I'm gonna
I
see
was,
it, but
It's your boy.
he's my boy. But it's just, it's not the movie that I want to save my summer.
Mm.
That should have been like the movie that I'm like, oh yeah, fun popcorn flick. I get to use this as like another little dig at MJ because this movie's gonna be better than the original Space Jam.
will
but,
be a
like,
good
think it will,
drive-in,
too.
a drive-in movie. That would be a
Yeah,
fun drive-in movie.
I agree because there's nothing
You don't
about
need
it.
to see it in the box. Like you don't need to see it in a theater.
Yeah, that's probably a perfect drive-in movie, and they'll show the first one with it too.
Sign me up.
Up next, July 16th, we've got the 34th adaptation of Cinderella. This time starring Camila Cabello, the pop star, Cuban pop star. I think she's hot, but I'm not crazy about this.
Is she Cinderella?
Yeah,
Sounds awful.
I'm not crazy about this movie though.
Cinderella is not Cuban.
No,
Cinderella is German.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's not go down that.
I'm just
road.
saying.
Let's just not have that conversation.
That's fine. We
We're
don't have to
opening
have
a
it
whole
again.
nother. We'll be on this
We don't have to have it again.
We'll
but-
be on this topic for the next hour and a half.
July 16th is also my most anticipated film of the year, The Night House, starring Rebecca Hall. It's a David Bruckner psychological horror film. What I love about this film is it's basically a haunted house narrative, but it's told through the memories of a dysfunctional marriage. So
Nice.
once again, you're combining something that's real life and putting it into a kind of horror
Is it going to be bad like Marriage Story?
enveloping. I hope not.
You didn't like Marriage Story either?
Marriage. Wait. We're talking the Scarlett Johansson.
Kylo
movie.
Ren and
I was
Scarlett.
thinking, what was that movie earlier this year with Zendaya?
I don't know.
Malcolm and Marie.
That was awful.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That
I
was
actually didn't
awful.
mind Marriage Story. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to watch. You wouldn't want to watch it again, but
Yeah.
I like it. It's
Colin, you don't watch horror movies, do you?
Not a big into that.
Movie night. That's
What-
the first thing I'm bringing.
what kind of movies are your favorite movies?
Well, sci-fi. I love sci-fi.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Quiet Place. I've seen some horror movies, but if it's like thriller, I'll watch it. But
Mhm.
like, I'm big into sci-fi.
Yeah, that's cool with me. Yeah, I love Alien, love like the Predator movies and stuff like that. Monster.
Jesse, you got to make him watch The Strangers.
Dude, so what I'm going to do, because like nobody in our group watches horror movies. Maybe
What?
does Jalen? Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So I was like, we're going to have movie night because Jenny doesn't watch any movies. Like she's never seen any classic anything, like no Indiana Jones.
She's like your
no-
sidekick.
No
just-
Star
just
Wars, no
nothing.
nothing. Like nothing.
We did a Star Wars
uh,
marathon
Is Robin.
last year.
Right. She's
Fuck you, dude.
she's
I've
your
seen a
Bat-
lot of shit. I have seen
she's
a
the
ton
Robin.
of movies. All right. I've missed a few classics along the way. But we decided we were going to start doing a movie night where we just rotate and you have to watch whatever that person's night is,
That's
whatever
fair.
they bring.
Ooh,
We used to do that.
I'm bringing some bangers, baby.
That's rough, man.
I like it. I like that. We
You
used to
get
do that.
talk-
I'm bringing some horror movies, and we are going to watch them with eyes wide open in the dark.
I don't know about that.
Make
man.
them watch that movie.
Eyes wide open?
Girl sits down and makes you watch like After or something like that. I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Better pay her.
Jenny's are
back.
the ones I'm most worried about.
Someone's gonna bring fences.
He's going to bring like
It's gonna be a mass
Star
suicide.
Wars for the first
No, we
9.
already did that.
You already did it?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
can't
there
go.
you
This
go.
is
a week.
11 movies, Jesse. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Too many.
All right.
Anyway, my bad.
Getting back to it, July 23rd, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe prequel starring Henry Golding.
It's a prequel to the G.I. Joe movies that they already made.
Yes, it
They're
is.
not even going to fucking start over at this point.
No.
That was 12 years ago.
Mhm. Yeah. Long live summer. Jungle Cruise, July 30th, Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. We got a lot of previews for this last year too. And yeah, it's been delayed about a year as well. Based off of a popular ride at the park. So I don't know how you make that into a story. Anyway, moving on to a film that I want to see. Old, M. Night Shyamalan's latest about a cursed beach that ages visitors before their eyes. I thought this
Oh.
trailer was cool when it played during the Super Bowl.
Trailer was really cool. I'm a little hesitant because they put it on the Super Bowl that there's not going to be much depth to their story and it's just going to be like meh.
Yeah.
But I hope it's good because it looked really cool.
Shyamalan's always kind of hit or miss with me. Like sometimes he makes really good films, but other ones that I purely hate. I hope this is kind of a return to form for him.
Yeah. Sometimes he makes incredible franchises and then ruins the ending and completely butchers it.
That's true.
Fair enough.
July 30th is Stillwater, a new Tom McCarthy drama starring Matt Damon as a father who works to exonerate his estranged daughter of a murder she never committed.
That hasn't been made before.
Nope. Sounds like typical Matt Damon fare even. The Green Knight we're finally getting, which is another A24 film. This is a horror film starring Dev Patel as King Arthur's nephew who embarks on a quest. I actually wanted to see this film. It looked pretty solid.
King Arthur's nephew goes on a quest and it's a horror movie?
Yeah. Dude, watch the trailer.
Who's Dev Patel? How do I know that name?
Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, or Lion was my favorite movie from him. The Suicide Squad, August 6th. I know we've talked about it a little bit. Two of us think it looked promising. One
I
of
think
us
that's
did not.
maybe the third movie you've said that I actually want to see.
Yeah, that's sad. Well, at least you know you'll save your money this summer.
Sadly.
Up next, Hotel Transylvania 4.
I didn't even know there was a 3.
Bringing
Thought
them
we were
all
on
back.
3.
Awful.
Bringing them all back. Yep. Everybody who was involved in the previous 3 movies. There's no need to even talk about story. It's not
It's
about
just-
that at this point.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe 2, which this one kind of surprised me. I love the first movie. First one's got one of the most unnerving scenes, if you know what I'm talking about,
I know
Turkey
what you're talking
Baster,
about.
that I've ever seen.
Can't believe that got a sequel.
Yeah, Stephen Lang returns as the lethal blind man who is now living in a remote cabin and raising a young girl. So I think it's the
It worked.
yeah.
Jeez.
Interesting. We got a couple more movies here for August. Free Guy, which was the Ryan Reynolds comedy where he's stuck in a video game.
I actually wanted to see that one.
We were supposed to get this in December, so it's not as delayed as much as, you know, like Black Widow or A Quiet Place 2.
I feel like we've seen trailers for it forever, though.
I agree with that. Now, we've seen trailers for that 6 months before that movie was supposed to originally air.
Yeah.
So we've gotten those for over a year. I think if anybody could do it, it's Ryan Reynolds for sure. You know, he can make this interesting. And, you know, video game movies are usually miss. So let's have one that, you know, works
Yeah.
that's not fully based off a video
I
game.
kind of looked at it as like a Ready Player One
Yeah.
style type movie. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking it maybe will be decent, but
And that's why I think Ready Player One worked. It's not necessarily
good.
based off of a video game. It's based off of different properties,
It's a book.
but yeah,
the book is better than the movie.
but it's not so much, you know, restrained to that. Respect, Jennifer Hudson plays the legendary Aretha Franklin in this biographical drama, August 13th. Ryan is psyched.
I thought Jennifer Aniston in my head when you said that, and I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Like, now we're talking Cinderella and
That would be all bad.
Brad Pitt can be the Mexican, okay? Tom
my
Cruise is the
gosh.
last samurai, okay? We'll make it
that
work.
made sense in that movie.
Okay.
He was a white general who was taken by the samurais. He was supposed to be white.
Anyway,
Jeez.
That's a good movie.
It is really good.
Bios is a science fiction drama starring Tom Hanks as the last man on Earth. I was reading about this film today. It doesn't have a trailer dropped yet, but what's interesting about it is it's the end of the world. He's the last man walking it, and he's a scientist, and he builds a robot who's basically the protector of his dog. So his dog has some kind of interesting secret that they're not fully revealing. Could be an interesting science fiction film. I'd like to see Tom Hanks in that genre.
He's getting old.
Definitely different for him. Yeah.
Tom needs
Apollo
to start.
13.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like the last movie that he was in that News of the World that came out last year. It was okay.
Mr. Rogers.
Before that, yeah, the Mr. Rogers movie, I thought he did really well.
That was good.
But I wish the story was more focused on him instead of the guy they chose to
Has
focus
he
it
ever
on.
played a dark role?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. In The Circle, starring Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was he really dark in that?
Yeah, he was a villain. Yeah, he was basically, who's the guy? Elon Musk, but evil. Like he was, putting chips in people's brain and all that. Yeah, he was.
I'd like to see him as like a Hannibal Lecter type of character at some
Ooh.
point. Like
that would-
now that he's getting older, like I just feel like that'd be like a perfect role for him. You redo it at some point, but you choose Tom Hanks. That'd be great.
He's a great actor, but I don't know if I could see him
horror movie.
in that role. Like, I don't know if I saw him in that role if I would take it serious.
He's good in everything.
I
though.
know, but like, I don't know. Could
The
you
second
see
he
him?
does it well,
He could
it's
do
gonna
it
fit.
well. I don't know.
He's got to challenge himself. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, he's done every genre but horror, so he might as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to change Jesse's opinion about the summer right now. Paw Patrol the movie, August 20th.
What?
Talk about the party of the summer.
Get the fuck out of here. I thought we were canceling Paw Patrol and it rises from the ashes.
Hey, that's Pablo's first movie right there.
Yeah.
It is Pablo's first. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not taking Pablo to see any movies like that.
Another one I'm looking forward to, Reminiscence, Lisa Joy's science fiction thriller starring Hugh Jackman as a veteran hired by Rebecca Ferguson to help relive a past memory. Now, when I saw the trailer to this movie, it reminded me a lot of The Butterfly Effect. I don't know how you guys felt about that movie.
It was
think
pretty
it's-
cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I think it's got some unique ideas. This one looks like they flesh it out a little better. They talk about the science that goes into the idea, the gimmick, as far as time traveling goes. And I love Hugh Jackman. He's one of my favorite actors going today.
Yeah, he's good.
So yeah, that'll be cool. And then the final film of the summer, rounding it out on August 27th, Candyman.
Okay.
Oh,
That makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
So
So
like just going through miles of shit and coming out clean on the other side.
What an awful lineup, though, for how long we've been waiting to get back to the theaters. And then this is what we have to look forward to.
yeah,
This was all supposed to come out last year for the most part.
most of them. Yeah.
My AMC stock is gonna I'm just gonna lose that
Plummet,
$100
bro.
is what it is.
I mean, honestly, of that list of 30 movies, maybe 5 that like I'm really like, cool, I'll see that. I really want to see that.
Mhm.
Candyman might save movie theaters though.
Candyman's gonna be dope.
I think because Black Widow's not gonna fill theaters up. That's gonna be one of the worst performing Marvel movies, I think.
And it's still pretty early by that time too. Candyman's the end of summer where you've got more promise, and you're gonna want to see that in a theater with as many people. And,
Candyman's gonna pull everybody in, and then horror season comes in October, and then you got Christmas. It's gonna save the movies, man.
And I think the visuals in the movie looks great. The
looks
trailer sold
amazing.
me. Yeah. And the original is one of my favorite horror movies, like top 20. Because I love the musical score is my favorite in a horror film ever.
Ever
I love the
over Halloween?
the
It
like
follows.
the orchestral vibes of it, like how they play the organs in it and everything. It's beautifully done. It reminds me a lot of those films like Dracula, Frankenstein,
yeah,
just contemporary times.
See, I like the music from Us.
Mhm. Yeah.
Us is good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Are you a movie goer, Cullen? Do you do the theater?
Probably not as much as Jesse, but
Anything
I do like it.
as much as Chris?
Chris sees every
5 a
single
week.
movie.
Oh,
guess,
really?
guess who has to see all 30 of those movies?
He writes up like 3,500 word reviews for every single movie that
Oh,
comes
dang.
out. He'll see Paw Patrol the movie
I will.
and give an honest review on it when it's done.
Yeah.
Anything on that list you're excited about?
I was excited for Suicide Squad, and they released who was playing a lot of B heroes or
Uh-huh.
villains, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And then the villain in it was stupid, like the giant starfish.
That's the one thing I will say. I don't agree with him being the
Terrible.
what's his name?
Starro.
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 Yeah, I don't agree with that, but like I think the rest of it looks okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them recasting certain roles. Like I love Idris Elba. I don't know. It could go either way. To me, it's like I didn't like the first one so much, so it can only go up
It's just
from
the
here.
villains they got in it. I'm like, no one even knows who these guys are.
Right,
Like, why are you doing
Is
this?
Starro confirmed to be the main villain, or could this be like a Guardians of the Galaxy 2
Set
type
up.
of thing where you start off with that giant monster?
Well,
and
it's from the
then-
guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy, so why not?
Yeah,
You know?
it's gonna be.
I
shit
hope
anyways.
it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I really hope it doesn't suck. But I agree. Like it looks great. Other than they pulled their normal DC shit and then do like some shitty ass
Villain.
I mean, I
villain
guess
and it
that's like
looks
the
cheesy.
point, because you're not going to have, like, are they really going to be able to pull off, though, having every major villain be in the Suicide Squad? Like, I
No,
think they're
but-
supposed to be little B-list people.
Starro.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
It's awful.
To Jesse's point, like if you had like a Joker say to be the villain, like where would Batman be? Obviously, Batman would be right there,
Right.
trying to stop him.
And you're not going to stop the Joker from doing, like, he's going to figure his way out of there. You're not going to Suicide Squad with the Joker and Two-Face and all these other amazing people. Like,
They should have turned that really annoying little short Hispanic girl into a villain, like Joker, like throw her into a vat of acid and
plus,
then just kill her off. Do us all a favor.
if you think of Batman's
Great name,
best
dude.
villains,
Whatever her name is, you know what I'm talking about? What the fuck's her name?
I have no idea.
White
what
man
it is.
can't jump girl.
Oh, Rosie Perez. Jesus, that's birds
Throw her
of
into a
prey.
vat of acid and
Oh, Billy, fuck you.
Jeez, we've gone off the rails.
I hate her.
That's the summer movie preview, though. I'd have to say, honestly, the one that I'm anticipating the most is that Rebecca Ferguson movie. Other than that, probably Zola, A24.
Real quick, going back to the Suicide Squad thing real fast. If you use the best Batman villains for Suicide Squad, though, they'd never be able to save the world. You got Joker,
Yeah.
Two-Face, Penguin,
Yeah.
Riddler. Like, they're all like psychological
Yeah, that's
bad
fair.
guys. Like, you got to put in the B-listers because they're the ones with the actual powers.
But surely there's better B villains, you know?
Calendar Man. Like,
come on.
moving on.
The Suicide,
Catwoman?
the Suicide Squad is fighting Patrick from SpongeBob. Like, come
That's
on.
true. That's actually what it reminded me of.
Oh, this is Patrick.
It's so awful. Anyhow.
Moving on, though, I know you had a couple of questions that you wanted to ask. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I got a couple Marvel themed questions I wanted to ask the gents. One, the main one was I see a lot going around online right now with Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman's passing and everything, and discussion around, do we recast his role and continue the storyline of T'Challa,
Mhm.
or do we pass the legacy on to somebody else and do a cool write-off for him, write out T'Challa, and then, because Black Panther isn't the person, obviously it can be anyone. So what are your guys' thoughts on just opinion on his legacy, and like what serves his legacy best? Does it serve his legacy best to recast it and continue the role, or to write T'Challa off, and then by doing so you lose all of the storylines that go with that role? Because we only saw a part of his story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more to it. So what are your guys' thoughts?
My only thing with like recasting Chadwick Boseman, it'd be so weird to re-see that because he
agree.
was such a good Black Panther.
Yeah.
I think they should do something like with the cartoon movie Avengers 3, where they did like the kids, like they do
Ooh,
some sort of storyline with like him having a kid where he becomes Black Panther.
That could be cool.
that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that could be cool, because I mean, him and what was his girl's name in that? Nakia or something?
Nakia, I think, is his girlfriend.
Yeah,
girlfriend
so-
is Shuri's the
and
sister.
they end Black Panther with them like becoming more serious and stuff. So they could easily write in an offspring role and continue his legacy that way. And that could be cool. I was thinking like passing it on to either Zuri or to
Sure, yeah, it was the.
Shuri, or
That's-
to even, I think Killmonger would be cool.
Oh,
If
but
they,
how would you bring him back?
it's fucking
It's ambiguous.
It's freaking wherever they live, Zamunda or whatever.
Wakanda?
Wakanda. They can
it
do
just
what
makes coming to America.
they could do whatever there. I mean, look, they stab him, but we don't really see him die.
Yeah,
So they save him, and
God,
I don't know.
I love that role. That's my favorite Marvel villain. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking love that role.
What are your
Killmonger.
guys' thoughts?
You took
on-
mine.
Yeah, I think that the way they're going to go is going to be Shuri, but I think that there's a ton of things you can do. Like in the new show, you see a lot of the I don't know how to pronounce it, Demalevage or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
Like the all woman secret service
Yeah.
basically that they have. Like you
tribe
could
that-
do other stories that revolve around Wakanda and just the characters without him.
Yeah, why
And
not?
figure it out as you go. Like you could do, it doesn't even have to be a Black Panther movie. It could be like a Wakanda movie.
Right.
And you just see the development of these people. You write them out at the beginning, because I don't think he should be recast.
his death creates this big shadow amongst.
Yeah, I mean, you could kill him off. You could have him go. I mean, the last time we saw him in the movies, he was going to reach out to America and help basically like our poorest areas.
Yep.
Maybe he thinks that that is more important than fighting people in a suit, and so he gives it up and he walks off for that reason. He goes off for a good reason. It's a legacy, but somebody still has to take up that mantle. And you see the girlfriend who's a badass. You see Shuri. You see the, how do you say it? Does anybody know? The demoliage?
I think
something
you're right.
like
The
that.
demoliage.
It's something close to that. That's not it, but it's close. But you could see all of the world that we didn't really get to see. We only got a glimpse of it in Black Panther. We never really got into Wakanda and like the advancements and the capabilities that they have.
That
Like
whole other land that's over there run by Winston Duke. That,
Right.
like, yeah.
we've got different world, like we have different territories, I guess would be the best word for it there.
Yeah.
Like you've got some people with rhinos over here and you got regular towns over here, and like you could really flesh out the world, have like a inner battle. Maybe there's like a battle for power after he leaves.
Right.
You could have a whole war take place right there. You don't need a big huge bad guy. Make it, by the books. This is a small scale thing, like how Iron Man 1 was, where it wasn't a save the world situation.
Best one. Yeah.
It was just a close-knit story of the characters, flesh it out, make everybody feel like they know this place, and then you can move forward with your post-credit scene where Shuri puts on the helmet or something like that, and everybody goes, oh my God, she's
Right.
going to be the one. We knew it, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody's talking again.
Yeah, and Jesse raised a good question there too. It's like, do you even bring up that he died? Do you establish that in the continuity?
See, that was my question. I think for my struggle is with his legacy and like how impactful he was. Why not write off a really cool story and celebrate him?
Yeah.
In the movie, like celebrate his death and do something cool within whatever it's called, Wakanda.
Yeah.
And do like a celebration of life for his character dying. It could have been in battle or something.
Mhm.
I think that would be a really cool way to celebrate him rather than he went to America and disappeared. Like
My only problem with that is it's easy for me to believe based on the story that he's doing that, and that, you could easily
Right.
just say this is what's happening. If you say this huge iconic character just died in battle after he's saved the world and saved the entire country and done all these incredible, amazing things, it just kind of seems like cheap and easy to
I
me.
get that.
I know it's obviously going to take away from arguably the biggest scene in Marvel history, but like you almost wish when they did the click and then they brought everybody back in Endgame, you almost wish they didn't bring everybody back, and that would have just been the perfect way to write him off. It's like, well, whatever happened when Thanos clicked his fingers,
Right.
he's gone forever. That's just one of the deaths they've got to deal with.
Yeah.
But Marvel's been taking on in their shows some adult themes lately, like grief, and I think I think they're going to tackle this one head on and probably establish his death. I just don't know how they do that.
So are we all in agreement that we think we do not recast the role though?
I
Yeah.
don't want him recast.
Shuri is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't even like that they recast like Rhodey.
Right.
Like even that, I feel like just it's such a perfectly continuous story with Marvel. There's so few inconsistencies in all of these movies. That's just such a glaring one for you to change that.
My thing with Black Panther is that it's not necessary because the Black Panther role can be another person.
Mhm.
There's no necessity to continue T'Challa.
No.
Yeah.
You can continue having Black Panther movies without continuing his specific that
His
character.
sister's the brains anyway.
Yeah.
Like she's the smartest woman established in the MCU. She's smarter than Tony Stark is.
Right.
I think that killing him also opens up more problems because now you have to deal with like there's just going to be little things like if she ever goes into like the little Panther spirit realm or whatever where he talked to his dad, people are going to always go, well, why didn't they talk to T'Challa whenever they were there? And it's just like little nitpicky things.
Yeah.
But like
CGI though.
You can, but I feel like that's even more disrespectful. I didn't like that they did that with
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was not good.
That's why I almost think you have to talk about his death. Like you have to establish it.
But then you've got it's open for all that other stuff. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you could say like, hey, this is what he's doing. He's off in America. Then you don't got to have to worry about anything. If it ever comes back up again, it's just he's in.
But he doesn't ever appear in a MCU battle knowing that he's the fucking Black Panther and he's just
not
off
if Shuri took over because you don't need to anymore. She's got it.
And that's my problem when you have a big MCU universe like this. So when something big is threatening the Earth in one of these movies, and you go, well, where the fuck's this guy? Where the fuck's this
That's
guy?
like saying that's like saying Tony Stark's just going to go and work for Stark Enterprises, and if the world started to fall apart, he wouldn't get an Iron Man.
I guess
suit to
that's
help.
true. But it's also, I mean, that they also have other issues like that. Like whenever you go into Endgame and the Hulk goes back and he sees the Ancient One and she's just protecting like her little area. She had an excuse for it. And like, I guess you could always write that in if you wanted to, but it's the same thing. Like, where the fuck was the Ancient One when all this stuff in New York happened? Why wasn't she doing it? Well, I was just protecting my sanctum because it's more important than the world. And it's just like, okay. Like, I guess you have an excuse for everything, Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a challenge, which is why I was curious your guys' thoughts. But Chris brought up a good point with the snap. So if supposedly the storyline is that when they were brought back, they went back to where they were when they got snapped. Yeah. So my question is, what happened to the people that got snapped back that were like flying in an airplane above the sky? They died. Or were in a building that is no longer there or something. So did they come back?
There's a running conversation online about this. I've seen a bunch of people debate, and they say that some people believe that when they snapped them back, it was that they snapped them back in ways that would be like safe, I guess. Because like you see like them playing basketball and getting run into, but they're not going to die from that. And you never see anybody like snapped back into traffic or anything in any of their cutscenes.
But how does the snap, the snap has to be continuous and the same for everyone. It can't determine each individual person.
Well,
so if you snap back,
no, you're like God. You can do anything you want. I could say I want everybody back except for Ryan because fuck him. Boom.
But who initiated the snapback?
And here's
Hulk.
Yeah.
So we were saying that at the time the Hulk was like, well, these people will do this and these people will do that. You just got brought back and you went to your previous.
But think about.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that's a theory.
Yeah.
Think about it like this though too. When they're in the on the war field, when they're fighting each other and like they're bringing back everybody that's the superheroes and all that, they bring them back through that portal or whatever that Doctor Strange creates. And I what if they just did that for all the people too?
But like they after already existed, didn't they? And then they joined.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They were already snapped back.
They gathered them all. That's why it took so long for them to get there, because they were gathering their forces and then they sling ringed them all into the battle, but not from existence.
But the regular people like you and I, we're not back yet. We're still stuck in limbo there. So
we're back.
So when that happens,
because as soon as he snaps, Ant-Man goes out and he sees all the birds by the tree and he goes, guys, I think that it worked. And he gets a phone call. Hawkeye's wife calls him. Yeah. So everybody's back at that point. They're just like immediately like, oh shit, we got to gather the forces and go and help them. And while they're doing that, they start fighting with Thanos, get their ass kicked, and then they show up for the dramatic.
Then you can't have a safety net, man.
That's what I'm saying.
They're fucking dead, dude.
I don't have a problem with those people being dead.
From a logic perspective, like if you're going to bring them back where they were and you can't do that little thing, like you're fucking dead, dude. Unless like you're gonna bring the plane back too, and
right.
I got no problem with them being dead. I like some darkness in my horror, my superhero movies.
But that's kind of why I wish MCU would explore a little more. Is like they're kind of doing it a little bit with Winter Soldier. But I wish they would explore it a little deeper. Like, what were the effects from this blip that happened? They said 5 years this happened. Yeah. Okay. So like the economy crashed, people were unemployed. Obviously jobs weren't being filled. What's the bigger picture here?
That's the one thing that I do really like about this show. The Winter Soldier and the Falcon or whatever, Falcon Winter Soldier is, even though I don't think it's as good as WandaVision as a show, it still really is breaking down like that whole, like the idea that all these people came back and now people are being displaced because of it. And like the government's scrambling to try to figure it out because like you had 5 years in shambles. Everybody's trying to work out a way to survive. Yeah. People have come together. It's like right after 9/11, everybody came together, but then imagine like multiplying millions of people right after that moment or something like that. Like, and now, okay, how do we fix this problem? People are being forgotten. And now you've got this whole entire radicalized group
who want their lives back.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cullen, any thoughts on the snap in the bring back and like what happened or what?
I didn't really focus too much on that. The main question about what the whole MCU for me is just like, where are they going to go from that after Thanos? Like, there's not really a big villain other than like Galactus maybe, but
you've peaked. Like anything at this point just looks like potatoes compared to that, big obstacle that was in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. My one last quick question is regarding the Infinity Stones.
You have Galactus and Doom.
And Doctor Strange's stone that he was responsible for is the Time Stone.
Yeah.
So at one point during the series, Tony Stark asked him, "What do you do here?" And he says, "I protect your reality, douchebag." So why doesn't he hold the Reality Stone? Why is Doctor Strange responsible for, or why was that organization, I don't know what they're really called. Why were they responsible for the time stone? Is there any relevance to that? Like who holds what?
So the only thing, and I was kind of reading up on this today, is like the only thing that I could see is with the time stone, doesn't Doctor Strange have to have that? Like he's the only one who can use it with his spells or something like that. Like, is that a case? I don't know.
I think you just have to be of the level of Sorcerer Supreme to be capable to do it.
Okay.
So he's the only person currently capable of it, but
Right,
that
how
doesn't
many
mean
people-
he's the only one that will ever be. Like, I'm pretty sure the Ancient One was able to use it beforehand.
Right. That's the best I've got.
And with
like,
that, with him having that power, why didn't they use it?
I think it's
Yeah.
just luck.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Why didn't they
use it to
go back
and fight Thanos and like?
Well, so at one
fucking
point he
beat
does say, because Iron Man's like, he brings up the whole, why don't we put this down the garbage disposal? And then
He
he's like, you
destroyed
might
him.
want to hide that, put that thing in your back pocket. And he goes, I might want to use it. And then
Yeah.
the
They never
alien,
do, though.
but the alien dude keeps him. He tries to use it at one point and he
Yeah.
gets his arms taken from him.
Yeah.
So, and then from that point on, he's desperately trying to keep Thanos from getting it. He uses it, realizes the only way to use it to defeat them is to give it up.
Yeah.
So that was just the whole thing. If he used it, they were going to lose.
it was the whole
He would have been
whatever, 10,000
overpowered at
scenarios.
some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3 million something, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the whole thing with that.
Yeah. I was just curious the reasoning he held it, because like some of them were just surrendered. Like they gave one to the bookkeepers, whatever, the collector dude and stuff. Like, why did they have?
I think that
The
they just
time
had it through
stone.
time. Like they just happened to have it. It was just one of those things that just happened to be under the.
That was under their
They just
realm,
happened to get it at
protected.
some point in history, way back thousands of years.
That's
Because they
collector-
didn't.
The collector got it from Thor.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
collector is just like a well-known being.
Yeah.
And people were just trying to like. He just
Hide
wanted
it with
to.
him and stuff.
Right.
That's something I'd like to see explored too.
But those things have been bouncing around forever. I
Yeah.
wanted the collector to get him so bad. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted him to be a bigger part.
Yeah.
That's
He's
the
a cool
thing is they
character.
take some major people from the comics and stuff and like cartoons and they just like
Nothing.
isolate it into nothing.
Yeah.
And it's
they're-
always that ability. Like if they ever decided like, oh yeah, we got Benicio not Benicio del Toro. It's
It was.
is it?
Yeah, he was
I
the
always mix
collector.
him and the director.
I
up.
like
Yeah.
him.
What's the director's name?
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah. So
Benicio del Toro is from Sicario, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah.
I like
So
him.
you've got an
Best
actor
role.
of that level
Yeah, he's
to
good.
play this like throwaway character, but you know that they were like they're sitting in the room writing stuff up. They're like, okay, let's do this. What about this? And let's do the
Yeah.
collector this, and then they scrap it. They go another direction, but it's always available if they need it.
Well, I was gonna say what happened to him because I loved his character.
Died.
He gets killed.
Yeah.
Did he end up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I mean,
right.
well,
Yeah,
it's implied that he's dead.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
they ever actually confirmed that he's dead,
I would
but
have liked to seen that expanded on.
He shared a scene with Howard the Duck. He wants to die.
Right. Right. Oh boy. All right. I think that's all for Hollywood Report, right?
No. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up. So,
Oh, okay.
so Lizzo.
Oh, was that? Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was reading up on this because you shared it with me earlier,
Erica's
and
ass, man.
Lizzo slid into Chris Evans' DMs,
Yeah.
wanting a little bit of ass.
She wants some of America's ass.
Yeah.
That's awkward.
did we ever see what she actually sent him though? Because I couldn't find it.
She sent him emojis. She sent him a guy dribbling. It was like basically like I'm shooting my shot.
my shot.
Yeah. And he responded and said, happens to the best of us. I've done worse. Or it's like
He's like, I've done my fair share of things on
Yeah.
this app or something.
yeah.
Send
You
penis.
can't fault someone for trying or something. Is what he said.
Yeah. She just sent him 3 emojis. That was it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic though. I mean, to be able to slide in Chris Evans DMs just have him even respond.
Yeah.
He's followed her since then.
It's
So
fantastic.
Yeah, that's where she got like the excitement from. She goes,
Yeah.
"Ooh, maybe something will come of this."
you never
Yeah.
know.
Like he's just being friendly.
The whole lot of ass.
great.
Jeez. All right. I think that's it. That's it for Hollywood.
That's it for
Any other
Hollywood.
DMs we're sliding into?
Haley Steinfeld.
Do we want to do Made to Motivate next?
Sure.
Let's do Made to Motivate.
That's you.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Listening to some good tunes over there?
Hell
What were
yeah.
you listening to, Lizzo?
I was listening to Shia yelling at me.
I feel it.
do it. We haven't had this in a while.
Yeah. Who was our last Just Do It? Jessica.
Yeah.
Oh
Jessica
God,
from
yeah.
Why you say it like
No,
that?
I'm just saying like it's been it's been that long because we didn't do a segment last week.
Oh my Lanza.
Jeez, yeah. No, I meant, oh, yeah.
I made a Motivate segment for all you listeners and viewers. You know it. It's our guest headline spot or something cool and exciting. So, again, Cullen the gamer is on with us. How do we want to kick it off? You got some questions, Jesse?
I mean, I play with the guy, so I don't have a lot of questions. He's answered a bunch of them for me, but there's stuff that people, I guess, probably don't know. We could start with, who do you play for?
Yeah, so I play for an organization called Hyped Esports. They've been around for a couple of years now. They're not huge yet. We just got into the Challengers division this year, which is like, so what it's called is the Call of Duty League. It's kind of like it's a new format for everything, kind of franchising, kind of with like the NFL and NBA kind of stuff like that. And it's their new like amateur league. So we just got into that this year, and we're getting ready to do that. So, but yeah, we're called Hyped Esports.
Would you say all of your video game time is dedicated purely to those series of games, or do your talents own themselves to other games too?
I pretty much only play Call of Duty specifically. I do like play some RPGs every once in a while, and stuff like that, but I'm on Call of Duty most of the time.
How many hours a day would you say you put in?
Usually I get on right when I get off work around like 4 and play till like 3 a.m.
Jeez.
Every night.
Do you mainly stick to that because that's what you enjoy, or do you see that if you start to play something else, does that start to like, does that like when you go back to play Call of Duty, do you feel like you've kind of like taken a backspin?
I think it's just something I enjoy.
Yeah.
I've always loved first person shooters, which is kind of just what a Call of Duty is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I play with my friends too before I play with my team. So it's just a good time to talk with my friends and play with them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I know you said like you loved first person shooters, but like what was it about Call of Duty specifically that you fell in love with? And
So
like, what is your favorite game too? Side question
Yeah.
in that universe.
So it's kind of a funny story. So when I was younger, like just in middle school, Jesse, there's some other guys like Braylon, Tom, and Richard used to come over our house all the time, and we started playing Modern Warfare 3, which was one of my favorite Call of Duties.
So good.
And they were so much better than me. They always beat me. So every
Wow.
single day I got on, I played against a person standing still to learn the spawns. And I would just work on my aim, work on my stat, work on
Wow.
everything. And I eventually just started beating them.
How the
constantly.
tables have
It
turned.
didn't take long either. Like we destroyed him. And then like, because I wasn't over there like all the time because I was a little bit older, like going to college, kind of in and out. Because I grew up in the same church as him.
Yeah.
And I was actually closer to his older brother, Ryan. So came over like probably like 8 months to a year later was like the next time. Not that I had seen them, but just that I had been to his house.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, why don't we play Call of Duty? And I'm like, dude, I'm going to fucking trash you. Like, why do you want to play? And this dude's like pre-firing corners and like doing all this other stuff and just like destroying us. I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening right now? And now he's like the leader of
Insane.
our group and just destroying everybody. Like what is your kill death? Like it's
on
freaking wild.
Warzone, it's 1.7 ish. On Cold War, I just got up to a 2.1.
It's
And
insane.
then on Modern Warfare was a 1.4 by the end of it, I think.
Yeah. So for reference, like I'm probably like an average, slightly above average, and I have like a 0.9.
Yeah,
Like I don't even have like a 0.1. Like I'm not even. So
That's crazy. That means let's not even go down that road.
I was talking about Ryan.
We don't need to talk about our
Ryan, what's your KD?
like 0.3 or something.
And that's why I don't play.
So for reference though, that means you killing 2 people every time you die, right? Every one death you have, you're killing at least 2. And that in this game, for those of you who haven't played or whatever, I mean that's tough.
But the thing is like,
I mean,
if you like, what are you in the last month though? Because like every time we play, he's getting 7, 8, 9 kills now
Right. Oh, yeah.
consistently.
But it's
so
over,
it's like
takes
he's
a
just
while.
played so long now that his averages are like they started low and
Yeah.
now he's got to the point where he's like so good it's hard to bring it up.
Of course.
Because when you pick up a new game, I mean, every Call of Duty plays similar, but when you pick up a new game, like learn the
Yeah.
guns and everything, so your KD drops a little bit and then
course.
start picking it up a little more.
Yeah.
But recently on the Activision app, it tells me it's about 2.7 on Warzone.
Like that's
Jeez.
insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you've competed in tournaments, right?
Yeah, so they're not specifically tournaments. So Call of Duty over these last couple of years have turned to franchising, kind of like the NFL or the NBA, where you play games and your stats, like they put you into the playoffs.
Okay.
So we play individual games and eventually we hit our tournament where we get placed in the playoffs to eventually make the end of the tournament.
What's your experience with that kind of thing? Like nerves, is it a relaxed environment?
It's nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking at first when I
Mhm.
first started doing it.
I imagine.
With tournaments and stuff like that. But now I'm just more comfortable with it. My team is awesome. I love playing with them. So
Nice. What is an imperfection that you see both with the game, Call of Duties, and maybe the tournaments as a whole?
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever you would call them.
the games is the developer support. These
Mhm.
guys, I mean, Treyarch does a better job than Infinity Wards. There's 2 different developers in the Call of Duty franchise, but they just don't listen to what the viewers or the players want, and so nothing gets changed. Guns are OP.
Really?
It's just ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah. So like I was gonna go back because you asked about like nerves and everything for these tournaments. So Cullen plays with me, Jalen and Jenny were like a core group that typically plays together. There's some other people, like his brother plays with us sometimes, but like that's like our main 4 that typically play. And to give him his credit, like he's never like an ass when we play. Like he's clearly better than the rest of us. And like Jalen's pretty good too, but he's even like 2 tiers above him. So never yells at us when we die. We do something stupid. He doesn't like, he's always giving tips and pointers, but he's never like a dick about it. And
no point in that because the bodies won't keep coming back, right?
yeah. So we get in and he's like, hey, I'm going to do my first tournament. He's like, since I, got onto the semi-pro team, but I really wanted to play it with you guys. Like, I thought that would be like really important to me. I wanted to play with my friends. So like, they're cool with it. So he lets us play in this tournament with him. And we got fucking wrecked. But like leading up to it, he's like, all right, guys, I'm just going to let you know. We're like drilling shit right now. Like you are going to learn how to play this game and I'm going to be on you and you can't be upset if I yell at you. So we get into it and he's just like, it's right behind you. Like, totally different person.
It's fantastic.
It's funny how those tables turn. Like the once weak have now been the the strong and the mighty.
Well, it's like when we're playing Warzone and stuff like that, which is the 4 of us, when we're talking, it's just real chill and all that kind of stuff. But when I'm in my tournaments, we're talking at a high speed. You have to be able to decipher what people are saying.
So you sound like Jesse does all of the time.
Literally, yes.
Oh God.
Jesse's screaming at the top of his lungs.
I don't scream at the top of my lungs.
You yell pretty loud.
That's because you're looking at the fucking ground when they're right next to you, and I'm like, look up, he's right in front of you. I don't have to do that with Cullen. I'm just like, Cullen to your left. He's dead.
Funny.
Would you say that you stay pretty updated when like a new console comes out or the new game comes out? You're right away to get it.
Yes, because this last year with Cold War, I was on the beta as soon as it launched. PS5, I did my best to get it as fast as possible. My team kind of helped me out buying a PC. So they kind of split it half and half with me. So now I'm on PC, so I don't have to worry about getting a new console every single time it comes out.
That makes it a little easier for sure. Yeah.
Do you like that better than a console? Like I never understood the.
Well, he doesn't keyboard.
I don't keyboard mouse.
So you just use a controller connected.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say keyboard mouse blows my mind.
It does, but like the FPS you get, like the frames per second you get is 10 times better. Like on console, even the PS5 only goes to 60.
Yeah.
So I can go up to right now. I play about 150, and then also the hertz I play on is 240 right now, and then it's just my reaction time just 10 times better.
Yeah,
playing on PC.
Not to take anything away because you're way better than a lot of people. Do you think that plays anything into it? I mean, obviously it plays a small part, but
you mean intimidation?
No, as far as a lot of people that are really serious about it, they're playing on better systems. They've got better controllers and stuff. Like, how much of a percentage do you think that really plays into your overall level of being an accelerated player or a better player?
So, like, if your kill death is a solid 2 even, if we put you on a base controller with basic internet, not on a LAN cable, on my TV at home, what would it be then? That's basically the question.
The thing is, when I first started playing Modern Warfare, which was the 2019, not the COD 4 Modern Warfare, when I first started playing that, I was on a 55-inch curved TV Samsung with my regular controller on a PS4.
Yeah, that's what
so and I was still killing people. If you're really that good, you don't need all the stuff.
Yeah,
that's true.
The stuff just helps.
Yeah. That's what I kind of figured. I relate it to, like, I do photography and stuff, and people always say, well, you've got a $10,000 camera. Of course your pictures are good. No, if you know your craft, you can give me a cheap $300 camera and I'm still going to be able to create the picture because you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So with gaming, I was always curious because I've always thought about investing in better stuff just because I think it would make the experience better. Not that I'm it's gonna make me better. But
Ryan, how do you have a 2-kill death already?
I bought this really cool controller at the store, and all of a sudden my kill rates went
I
up.
bought these. They call them hacks, and it just helps a lot.
That's true too, because if you give a $5,000 camera to someone who's never photographed a picture in their life, if they don't have the vision,
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be anything.
Yeah.
that's like people will be like, "Man, your camera takes really good pictures." I'm like, "Oh, really? Well, here you go.
Mhm.
Please,
Yeah.
show
Make
me."
sure you bring your good camera on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll make sure to do that.
Do you have a gamer tag or like a nickname that you're known as?
Oh yeah, I'm Deadshot.
Deadshot. Nice.
Like the DC, or sorry, the Marvel, no DC.
DC,
sorry.
yeah.
Confused.
I like it.
What is it like to? You answered one of my questions, or Jesse kind of did when he was talking about his story and going away and you practicing and stuff like that. But like, is that for something like gaming? Like, I feel like that's what it's got to take. I mean, you're going to play over a long period of time. Obviously, you're going to slowly get better. But like, I was playing a lot and I didn't feel like I was getting any better. Like, what do you do to really practice to get better at a game like that? I mean, you can go into Warzone where it's 150 people or whatever it is. And I don't feel like that's a sufficient way to practice a game like that and get better, because you're dying so quick. Like, it's hard to get better.
Mhm.
What do you do in an instance to get to the level that you're at?
Yeah, so it's definitely harder nowadays because I mean kids are insane
Yeah.
nowadays. Like they're so good. But basically, it's all just about like practicing your on FES. It's all about practicing your snap, which is something that's like when you're facing a different way and then you're instantly on the person.
Yeah.
It's something that I really focused on when I was just playing against a person standing still, because then it
Yeah.
really just helped me get better and better and better. And then also reaction time. If you don't have reaction time, you can't play. I mean, it's just honest opinion right there. But like, it's all, some people are born with it. There's some people in the Call of Duty League that are
Yeah.
absolutely insane. No one can keep up with them. But if you just keep up at it, play with someone who's better than you,
Yeah.
or just play with someone who's just standing still and just keep on working on those fundamentals of what the game needs.
What do you mean by that when you say play with someone who's standing still? Like,
That's how I originally got good, because I learned where the spawns were on the maps, and then I also learned how to snap to a person.
gotcha. So
And
you're
then
just
all-
talking about like loading in a second player and then
Yeah.
just going and
Because back
messing
then
around
there were
with
no
it.
bots. You couldn't play against bots. You just had to play against someone who was standing still.
Take us through a traveling scenario, like when you go on the road with one of these gaming tournaments. I hate calling them that, but I'm just going to, just to make it easier on myself. Take us through, like, so accommodations. Do you book them? Does a league book them?
So it all depends on what org you're a part of. I'm part of a fully funded org, so they would pay for everything, because as we win tournaments, the money goes to the org. They help pay for stuff.
That's cool.
Now with like a CDL team, which is the Call of Duty League, literally the org pays for everything. They pay for the food, the flights, everything, their controllers, their consoles. Like, it's just, I mean, the money that goes into it is absolutely insane. Last year, for the major tournament, which is the champs, kind of like a Super Bowl kind of thing.
Yeah.
The prize pool was over $250 million.
Jesus.
Oh, gulp.
So it's pretty insane how much money they put into
insane.
it. But yeah, so it depends on what part of org you're part of it. That's all that matters.
Goodness. Is it kind of piggybacking off of Chris's thing with like the tournament stuff? What does it take to get into to be on that team? Or like, do you get recruited, or is it something that you have to try out for in your stats? I mean, sure, it all plays together, but like, what did it take for you to be able to get into to be on a team, to be in that league?
Yeah, I had to search for it, of course. I mean, a lot of stuff happens on Twitter for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So I kind of just posted some clips. I kind of just posted, like, how long I've been playing, the things that I do, and then I got some tryouts with some people. So I tried out for this team. It's kind of I best fit with them. That's what I thought, and so I kind of accepted because there was a couple other people I tried out for, but this one I just felt like was right.
What do you base that off of? Like, what that perfect fit is?
The players I was playing with, how we communicated with each other, how we moved around the map as a team. It's all fits together, because if you don't work well with that team, you're just not going to win.
Yeah,
So,
no communication. Yeah,
That's one of the most frustrating things playing. And part of the reason I don't see myself getting much better is, unless you have a core group of people to play with, it's so hard to learn that team dynamic, because you spawn in with random people and then everyone goes and does their own fucking thing. I'm like, if you're going to play in quads or, a team game, then fucking play as a team. That shit drives me insane.
And even in interest, general interest, if you don't have a spotter there, there's nobody there to motivate you to want to pick the controller back up.
Yeah, but I mean, there's times like I'll just play with whoever's on, wherever they pair you with. And like, I've won with complete strangers, because if you get people that want to play together and have like that team dynamic, you can do okay.
Yeah.
But if you go into a team of 4 people and you're with one other person and everyone else does their own fucking thing, like it's impossible. You need to have a group of people to kind of grow with. So very cool. What is your next tournament's coming up here in May, you said?
Yeah.
Where's that at again?
Chicago.
Badass.
And what is that? So I know you said you go in and it's kind of like NBA, you play and you have stats, but like, so are you playing the full, I don't know, what is it called? Like, what's
Like
the
a
open
lobby?
map? What's the main Warzone? It's just called Warzone, where it's the
Verdansk.
125 people or whatever.
It's so when I play Warzone for fun, I don't play it for tournaments. I play multiplayer. So like
Okay.
we do, it's best of 5 series. So you play,
Okay.
it's 3 different game modes: hardpoint, search and destroy, and then it's what's called control.
Got it.
And then it repeats hardpoint and S&D if you go further. But basically, we veto maps. We choose the maps. Our coach helps us with that. So each team has their coach and stuff like that. But and then we go into the first match, and if we win, we move on, stuff like that. And there's winners bracket, losers bracket, depending on where you go.
And that's a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, 4.
So 4 versus 4 in the multiplayer level, and then you just continue to move up the bracket that way. Okay, that makes sense.
So you have a coach. So what does that look like? Is that like, are you drawing up plays and shit for like certain things like S&D? We know that they go here 30% of the time, and that's why we need to swing this way on the map. And
yeah, so like we'll watch VODs from other teams that we're playing. We can read up on them and make sure we know how they play a certain map.
Wow.
That way, if they veto a certain map, then I know they're bad at this map. So I'm gonna choose that map because we're pretty good at it.
Oh my God, I would suck so bad at this.
So our coach kind of does that for us, and then we watch the VODs with them and stuff like that.
So what does that roster and your coach look like? Like, because when you think coach, I'm thinking like Phil Jackson, old man. Obviously, that's not it. No. So like, is your team like generally guys your age? Are they younger than you? Are they like 30-year-old vets?
You have to be 18 to be able to be in this league. But normally, if you're over 30, your reaction time slows down, so you don't really play Call of Duty that much. Sorry, guys.
It all makes sense.
But
that's your problem. You're just too old.
I'm an old man.
Mostly we're mid-20s.
Okay.
And then our coach, I think he's 27. I think I'm not quite sure, but you can be a little older, be a coach, of course, because you've played the game, you know how to play it, but you just can't play anymore. Which is what happens when you're a coach.
Wow.
So basically, in a team, you have your coach in the lobby, and then we have our main AR, and we have a flex, which is basically someone who runs AR when they need to, or an SMG when they need to, and then we have a entry SMG, and then we have a hold SMG, which holds the point when we need to. And then so we all play in the same lobby. The coach just tells if they either like give us motivation, we need it, or they'll kind of like tell us where to go if we need that direction.
Which position are you?
I'm the entry, so I go in. So say like it's hard point. Not sure how much you guys have played Call of Duty or not, but basically there's a point you need to go into, and if a team's there, my job is to go and clear it, and then run around while the hold SMG holds it.
So this is not just a bunch of people that are good at video games getting together and playing video games. Like that is intense.
It's a lot of strategy to it.
That's wild.
Yeah, I can beat any Zelda game within 2 hours. That's cool.
No, I mean, I never realized that though. When you think about people that are professional gamers, I'm thinking like, okay, Cullen's just really good at Warzone, so he plays with some other people and like makes money, but not that there's a coach and that there's all that strategy and stuff to it. Like that's really crazy to me.
Do you have any future aspirations or goals that you haven't quite attained yet with the game and the league as a whole?
I mean, in general, I've always wanted to become a pro since I started playing Call of Duty. It's harder now. So what the format used to be was called the Call of Duty World League. You could literally just enter whenever you want to. Now there's a set 12 teams. And if you're not on that team, you're not technically a pro. You're called an amateur.
Jeez.
And so it's really hard to make it on there because the people that are on there are very talented. Until they retire, it's really just hard to make it on there unless they're just playing really bad and they bring someone up from the amateur league.
And you just play the same 12 teams in that bubble?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the NFL. It's just I'm not exactly sure how many teams are
32.
32.
Yeah.
So they play the same 32 teams. And so they basically play these teams until they eventually make it to the playoffs and then the Super Bowl or champs. We call it.
So does your league expand to other games though? Like I know you're Call of Duty and your team is Call of Duty, but like, is there a Madden level of your league that they just have a faction of Madden players? Or
yeah. So our org, we have Valorant, which is one of those. What's a new PC game, kind of like a CS:GO. We have a Madden area, and I think we have an upcoming Halo for the new Halo. I'm not
You got a
quite sure.
Mario Party League?
You got to get
I
me
could do
on
Mario Party.
You got to get me on that Madden one, man.
A Zelda one I could rock, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do a multiplayer still.
We could figure it out. Give me and Chris a chance.
any Mega Man.
I need a GoldenEye league. I could do GoldenEye.
Yeah,
This is I used to be great at
Goldeneye
that.
would be badass. Yeah. Talk about a shooter, man.
You give me a year, I could probably do the Madden League. I got some crazy cheats on Madden, but
Yeah.
I hopefully they do with that what they do with you, because you guys have like restrictions on like overpowered guns and everything
Yeah.
for tournaments. So hopefully with Madden, it'd be like, well, you can't use this play because it's a cheat sack play, and like because there's some stuff on those games where it's just like that, where it's like you move your defensive tackle to the right, and then you call this audible, and you have literally 0.7 seconds before the computer player will sack the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, with any game, even with Madden, they do things called they do restrictions on certain things that are overpowered. But teams, they'll do like a GA, which is like a gentleman's agreement of what guns not to use. So it's like the whole league as a whole, they'll choose like, okay, the AK-47, you can't use it,
Okay.
and they'll all agree on it.
no slappers only with the golden gun.
Exactly.
Damn it.
Would you say COVID over the last year has helped or hurt your game?
It's hurt the community as a whole because everything is online. So if you don't have good internet and you get kicked out of the lobby, it's just horrible for the whole team, especially for the last year for Modern Warfare, the league. If someone got kicked from the lobby, they just kept playing. Now this year for the league, if someone gets kicked out of the lobby, you restart the game, which is awesome. I love that. But online, it's just terrible because there's lag. Anything can happen. I mean, that's why I'm so happy we're going back to LAN, which if you don't know what LAN is, you hook up everyone up to the same router. You play a local. It's super awesome. There's no lag. Everything works perfectly.
Now, what will that look like in Chicago? Is that like a convention center where you're just going to have multiple routers in different sections and you're all just sitting in one spot? Or
yeah, so basically it takes place
crazy,
at
dude.
the main tournament for the Call of Duty League. We just go and play at a separate area of the convention center. And there's 2 tables set up with your monitors, your PCs now, and your controllers, and you sit next to each other.
Hey, Chongo, shut the hell up. I'm trying to listen to my teammate.
Hey, there's a lot of trash talking. It's
I was
great.
gonna say, I want to see. Like, I need to witness that. Are there people? Like, do people go and watch?
Yeah. And
Oh,
there's
man.
it streams too.
That would be so. I want to see it like in person. Like, I need to see everyone like going to war in the room.
Squared.
Yes, dude. That'd be so fun.
that would be dope. Let's do it.
Yeah.
How much are tickets?
They're actually not too expensive. Last year when me and Kyle were going to go before it got canceled, it was about $70 for each.
What is
of
the
us.
date again?
It's May. It's like the second weekend of May. It's like
The 8th, 8th, 9th,
I'm on vacation.
no, it's the week after that. Sorry.
15th, 16th.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
I was gonna say good because the other one's Mother's Day. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's 15, 16.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Dude.
Take these kids away from them.
Man, that would be so fun though.
Yeah, that's
Chicago's cool too.
And then
So how does
Champs
it
will
look
eventually
like
get Texas?
in terms of like, because we know you win money from tournaments, do you make like a certain amount just for being on the team at any point, or is it just if you win, you get to keep what you get?
Yeah, so
and-
it's only a salary base and the actual league. So like they'll depending on which team you're on and how much money they actually have, they'll pay you a certain amount of money every single year. But the money on top of that, if you win tournaments, it goes straight to the players. Partially, some of it goes to the org because they have to make money. So basically, how my team does it, we worked out a deal with our owner where we keep about 75-80% of it, and then he takes the rest.
It's pretty good.
For the org.
my last question. What's the biggest difference between Cullen and Deadshot?
I mean, I get pretty intense
Mhm.
when I'm in the games on the tournaments. When it's just Warzone, I'm playing with my friends, I really don't care. I mean, we win. I mean, I love winning, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I do get hyped when I get like if I can wipe a team or something like that. But
We'll have to get you that Will Smith mask that he just pulls down.
I'm pretty intense when I play in tournaments.
Yeah, I need to see. I need to like listen in on a Cullen tournament game because with the like 3 times I played with you on Warzone, you're so chill and mild mannered.
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, it's super polite. Like I suck, and he's like, it's all good. Like we'll buy him back. Buy him back.
Yeah.
And
Ryan's on top. Why didn't you buy him?
Yeah.
That shit'll change when it gets competitive.
Right, but
Get
that-
fucking ass together.
But I love that though. Like I love that you can separate and have fun with it, but then know like when it's for real,
Yep.
you know, you buckle down and it's serious. Like I think that's what makes it still enjoyable. And you like with anything like hobby oriented that you take to that next level, you have to kind of maintain that separation. Otherwise it becomes like not as fun, at least to me. Like I start to not like it as much when I'm like so into it that I can't separate out the like
Yeah.
downtime with it and enjoy it. So that's cool.
I think it helps that I've played for so long too. I've been playing, I mean,
Yeah.
for 10 years now, since since
Jeez.
Modern Warfare 3 and then Black Ops 2 and so on.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I never got really into the online much until Jesse was talking about it every week when we did the show. I played Call of Duty this week. I played Call of Duty.
You guys
so I
played
finally
all the time
downloaded
last
it.
year.
Yeah, and then I never did it because everyone's so good. And I was like, this is going to be awful. But then I got on and I was hooked. There was a while there. I was logged on every single night till like 2 a.m. I didn't care if I fucking lost every game. It was just fun to play.
Yeah.
Ryan gives himself no credit when it comes to anything. He's actually one of the more articulate people I've ever met. He joins our mini golf tournament in the first year. He takes 3rd place out of 24 players.
Yeah, it's fun though. Other questions?
No, he
YouTube channel, man. There hasn't been an
Oh,
upload in a
yeah.
while. And
yeah.
I go on there. I'm subscribed. I look because
Oh,
I get
Twitch?
I get a little indicator that says there's a new video and then there's no new video. It's like a glitch on my thing.
Mostly Twitch, and if we get a win, I'll clip it and put it on YouTube. But
Okay. What's your Twitch called? Is Deadshot?
it's Akran, so Akran. It's not Akron.
Yeah.
It's AKRAN _ Deadshot. It's D3AD5 HO.
Okay.
OT. Oh,
Yeah.
OT, sorry.
3 and 5 instead of an E and an S.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because it was taken for
Yeah.
actual. Yeah, so I had to.
So if you want to follow,
And for some reason,
Twitch?
Akron is obscene, and we weren't allowed to use it as our clan tag.
Really?
Yeah, that's why we're Akran.
I always wondered that. I figured again it was just taken or something though.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
AN. Okay.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Check that out. You guys can watch, see what all we're talking about, on Cullen's Twitch and YouTube and all that fun stuff. Next, you got a lot for sports. You want to hit sports quickly?
Not a lot, but we can get it. Yeah.
Let's do sports.
Swung and lined to deep left field. It is gone! 45-40. Run, William, run! 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Do this one.
James with the
This is locker room talk.
It's locker room talk,
Almost-
everybody.
It's almost as good as your Stipe impression.
It's the greatest.
Mr. Sports Illustrated.
What is going on?
What's going on in the wide world of sports?
So it's not a mystery to people that I do not like baseball. No secret there. So there's not a lot there. I know he's got his Mariners stuff on.
Best team in the AL.
I actually did watch a baseball game, the last bit of the Indians the other day. So that was cool, but it's just like, meh, and then basketball sucks. They've completely ruined the sport. It's going to be, I think baseball's going to take its place if they don't get their act together, because it's a shit show in the NBA right now.
Football's always top dog here.
And football's always going to be on top forever until something takes its place. But football's been dead lately because the draft's coming up. Nobody wants to show their hand. Nobody wants to make any major moves.
Except for Jacksonville, who gave the playbook to freaking what's his name already.
That is true.
Like,
but everybody knew they're
Is that
gonna get
legal?
if you know you're going to take him, I mean, you could give a playbook to me if you want to, but yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to Jacksonville. They, this wasn't on our list, but a bunch of people, he got married and a ton of people from Jacksonville sent him wedding gifts. So he donated $20,000 to a Jacksonville charity.
Oh, cool.
Probably would have been more, but he doesn't have any money yet. So, something about him though, I just don't like him. Dude looks like a fucking tool, doesn't he? Doesn't he have like the most punchable face in the world?
His name should be Pony.
He's just I don't know. I everything I've seen of him says that he's like a really nice guy, but he just looks like a dick.
And Jacksonville's my unofficial second favorite team, so I kind of hope that he does do
God,
well.
really?
Yeah, it's always been that
How
way.
did that happen?
Mark Brunell. I love Mark Brunell. Only non-cowboy jersey I own.
That's so crazy. Jacksonville. Ugh. But anyways,
Jesus.
I know. I just don't like them. I don't like Jacksonville. I don't like the city. I don't like their Duval chant. I don't like any of their players. I have James Robinson. I hope he's good, but like,
Have you ever noticed when Jesse doesn't like something, he doesn't like
I don't like
something,
it.
man.
I've heard
I don't
of
like
such
it.
He
things.
is all in on the things he does not like.
I
It's
don't
so funny.
like it.
I love
I
it.
mean, let's be honest. The Suns suck. They have no chance. Okay, I know they're your team, but it's bullshit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's just so passionate about it. It's so funny to me.
Like, I don't dislike the Suns, but come on, they're not gonna fucking win. Are we serious? Come on.
All these injuries stack up. They might.
No, but so in the world of sports, Browns news, they cut Sheldon Richardson, and
Yes.
people are losing their fucking minds over it. It saved us like $13 million off the
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
they're saying that they're probably going to re-sign him. That's something that's been happening across the league because of these cap issues. You cut him. You say, hey, man, try the free agency out if you want to. They go out there. They can't get any money because nobody's spending $12 million on a defensive tackle, no matter how good you are.
Right.
And then he's going to come back with his tail between his legs, and he's going to get $4 million, and we're going to be happy to have him back. But I don't think that this is a big deal. We did lose Ogunjobi also, so we literally have nobody at defensive tackle right now. But we did have Jacob Phillips was pretty solid last year. We had another guy who was at defensive tackle last year that was a rookie who was pretty solid. I think they're probably going to draft a guy. If they don't re-sign him, if they do re-sign him, you're getting best player available at 26. But
Yeah.
it's just like people need to slow their roll around draft time. There's like people freaking out about all these different mock drafts and like rumors going out and all this other stuff. Like you'll see stuff. There's probably an article out there somewhere saying that the Cowboys are going to trade up to take Justin Fields. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. And it's like, that is never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
With Jerry, it might happen.
It's not going to happen. And like people don't realize that there's smoke screens everywhere. Like right now, my only focus is I want to see where players go for my fantasy football. And like I trust the Browns organization for the first time in my life. And I've never fallen for the smoke screen crap. Like it's just, there's just rumors everywhere, and it's intentionally put out by the teams so that somebody will jump on a player early or somebody will doubt a player and let them fall. And it's all just a chess match at this point.
At 26 too, there's no way you can really choreograph that kind of thing. So like if you're first, second, third, fourth, you can kind of go, well, we know who we're probably going to get.
Even at 4. So the Atlanta Falcons have the 4th pick right now. And like nobody knows what they're going to do. Typically you can map out like the first 5 picks. There's no one what's good. Like right now, Lawrence is going 1. You have a pretty strong indication that Mac Jones is going to go 2, which I still think Fields goes 2. But
I think Fields is better.
I do too. I think Fields will go 2 eventually when it gets to it, but people believe in the smoke screens that are out there. Yeah. And then at 3, they think it's going to be Mac Jones or Justin Fields. So those 3 guys are going to be off the board 1, 2, 3. When you get to Atlanta, now it comes in the conversation. Do they draft Matt Ryan's replacement and go after Trey Lance or a who's the other guy? There's one other guy. I don't even know. He's not any good, so it doesn't matter.
Which is why I think they want Gilbert. I really think Atlanta wants Gilbert, but the fact is they won't get him, so they're going to trade off.
And so now the big thing is they're going to take Kyle Pitts, who's like, the return of,
Tony Gonzalez.
That's what they're saying. They're saying he's the greatest prospect that they've ever mapped out in the history of tight ends.
Careful.
They're saying he's going to be, his wingspan is insane. He's incredibly fast. He's going to be great. I think he's going to be great. He's a good blocker. He's got incredible size. He's got the best. He will be the most athletic tight end in the league.
Oh, no doubt.
But can I say he's going to be Tony Gonzalez? I mean, Rob Gronkowski was chasing Tony Gonzalez for a while, and injuries took him. Yeah. So Travis Kelce's not even Tony Gonzalez, and he's insane. So I don't know if you can make those assumptions, and taking a tight end at 4 is crazy, especially whenever you have some elite players in this draft. But I don't know. I mean, it's just all over the place. You can't map out the draft.
No.
It's like trying to figure out March Madness. You will never figure it out. Somebody will trade. Atlanta will probably trade that pick.
I'm calling Chicago
for number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be okay with that. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that Carolina's going to make a big trade too at 8.
Mm.
I think the Patriots are going to move up there and take Trey Lance.
Yeah. Pressure's building.
But so yeah, that's just like my little local Browns news that we've got. Pretty slow outside of that. Secondly, Aaron Donald was accused of beating the crap out of some dude. The picture of this guy, his eye was like swollen shut. His face was just destroyed. He got accused of assault in a fight. And then a video came out about a week after this accusation. I think the accusation came out one day after our recording last week.
Yep.
And shows that he actually broke the fight up, and he was trying to help the guy that accused him. And the guy says afterwards he took the accusation off the boards, not pressing any legal action anymore, and he apologized. But he was like, I mistook him for another person.
Mm-hmm.
How do you mistake
cash grab
somebody else for Aaron
fucking
Donald?
Yeah.
This guy is arguably already one of the greatest defensive players in the history of the game. Like top 10 for sure already at his position. and on the defensive side of the ball.
And he's easy to spot.
If Aaron Donald walked in this room right now, I would not know.
No?
I would.
Oh, I would.
I would. Would you, Colin?
Nope.
Yeah, I honestly would. I would have no
I
idea.
would- I would
Okay,
go.
so real quick, if
To your defense, though, you guys are way more into sports than I.
For
am.
sure. For sure.
I would not know.
now, if the three of us jumped you and Aaron Donald came in, you'd also be able to tell that Aaron Donald didn't knock your ass out. Like,
Oh,
why
right.
are you making
Yeah.
accusations if you don't know?
Yeah, he knew who he was, and he was trying to get money out of it.
Exactly.
This goes back to that argument we had a couple of weeks ago where I said, if you falsely accuse somebody
Yep.
and it turns out that, they were innocent in it all,
Yeah.
you should
Yeah.
serve
You should
some
be held
time for that.
accountable
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. I mean, because even if it was just briefly, you still tarnish his name for that period of time where you're like, Aaron Donald beat me up in a bar fight. Like, what the fuck?
And some assholes are always going to associate him with that. They'll always
Yeah.
go, well, he's got a temper and he's
Right.
a
Yeah.
nutcase.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it sticks around. Like it's not like in the
Yeah.
past where you would be like, well, he's innocent, that's not true anymore. Like people give Ben the benefit of the doubt a lot. He still gets the jokes and everything, but nobody really thinks he raped those women, even though he did.
Allegedly.
But like McCall or Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
he carries the accusations around of being a woman beater.
Yep.
Adrian Peterson still gets shit for whipping his kid.
Yep.
Miles Garrett, just wanted to defend himself because the guy dropped a hard R and he dented his head and deserved it. But
Allegedly.
he still gets crap. He did it.
Jeez.
Release the tape. Release the tape. I want the Snyder cut.
Release the Snyder
I want
cut.
the Goodell cut. But I don't know. I hate whenever stuff like this happens because Aaron Donald is an elite player.
Yeah.
From what I know of him, is a really good guy.
Charitable.
Like good with his community, good with his teammates. A lot of descriptions to him are similar to what you hear about Myles Garrett in Cleveland. He is good with the community. He's a soft person off the field, but he is a terror on the field. And to see somebody get their name dragged through the mud, I'm glad that this came out so quickly because I would not want to see him go down for something that he did not do. I really like Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald versus Jake Paul in a fight. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Aaron Donald all day.
Really?
All day.
Chris?
Did you guys see this fight?
Yes.
The 30 seconds or 20 seconds of it?
Yeah, that was a good transition. This fight was rigged.
I don't think it was rigged. I just think it was a joke.
No, they paid this shit off. This was like the perfect movie moment. In the first, your ass goes down. Say it back to me.
Yeah.
First, my ass goes down. It was a joke. This dude,
was awful.
I didn't know a lot about these guys ahead of time because I'm just not like super into the fighting world. But I pulled up some clips of this guy that Jake Paul allegedly beat.
He's a UFC fighter.
I've seen him getting the shit pummeled out of him and then him getting up and continuing the fight. And you're going to tell me that this guy caught that one hit, stumbled and fell, got back up and was too wobbly to continue.
Well, you gotta
get the fuck out of here.
Here's the thing. You got to understand the different rules between boxing and UFC as well, though. So the guy has to be able to stand up and compose himself for so
sure, you
long.
got to press your gloves back up against the hands and all
be
that.
able to continue forward. And it's not pro boxing level. So I'm sure it's a little bit more like, if he seems like he might be injured, we're not going to like.
It wasn't even that hard of
I
a
know.
hit.
Look, I agree. And here's the thing. I compare this much to Conor versus Mayweather. He's not a boxer. Not to that. They're not that they're at that caliber.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul, Jake Paul, they are there about the hype. He fights people that he shit talks to on YouTube. Him and Ben have been spatting it back and forth for a long time. He's like, well, then fight me. And that's why. Get him a real boxing match. Now, I know everyone hates him, and I'm on the outside just because I feel like give him his dues. He's been going through the paces to actually practice and go through boxing camps and get a trainer. If he wants to be a boxer, cool, but fight a boxer, fight a real person. Like, let's get rid of these. I'm coming with my big robot and like these big fucking shows and just have a boxing match. I don't know.
Two things.
I know, Chris, you hate him.
One-
Show your passion like Jesse.
I'm gonna explain.
I want to see it like Jesse.
I'm going to explain why in a second. First, I got to bring up this one, though. So anyway, the fight itself. So Ben Askren, as somebody who watches the
He's a
UFC
bum.
religiously, he's not known as a striker. He's known as a ground
Correct,
game.
yeah.
So he was a college wrestler on the ground, he would have destroyed Paul.
Yep.
But like, as far as on his feet goes, Paul knew that. He exploited him, and Paul has a little bit of talent that he does. You know, he exploited that to his fullest will. He needs to fight somebody who's a boxer first. Even if it's an MMA fighter, you take a guy wwho is a boxer who can strike. You take a John Fitch, and you fucking see how you can do against that.
Fight Connor, Jake.
Yeah.
Fight Connor. See how you do that.
Love to see that fight.
Connor will knock your fucking head off.
The only way, and Jake wishes that would happen. Like, he would sign that today.
Again, look, give the man credit where credit's due. He's a businessman, and he's fucking cashing out.
He knows what he's doing, but he's a sellout.
Making money.
He's a dick.
The reason I don't like Paul, though, is he's a piece of shit. Like, he was indicted by the
Jake
federal.
or Logan?
Jake.
Oh
yeah,
both of them.
Logan, yeah, I have kind of problems with Logan, but Jake, my problem is way more with Jake. Like, this is a guy who, and I was going to transition into this. Pete Davidson from SNL.
I saw this.
Did you see all these posts? That
the most awkward interview ever
he made all night. He was talking about, you know, all the shit talking to, you know, how bad of a person Jake Paul is, and you know, yeah, he goes on to it. I'll send you guys the link, but. Yeah, I'm not a Jake Paul fan, and like that cockiness, that don't bother me. That's not the problem with him, because in every sport you're going to have that. Hell, in mini golf, we have that,
and I love it.
Two of our golfers, so you know it's everywhere you go. But yeah, so this whole spectacle, which I'm glad I didn't pay a penny for.
Yeah,
this whole night, Snoop Dogg is the worst goddamn commentator I've ever heard in my life. I know that's not his job, but if you're going to put him in front of a mic, get him some learning.
That's
please.
with Thriller though, because Thriller's who puts it on.
Yeah.
And that's just like the Mike Tyson one.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people that they have to like host it and stuff, it's so awful. It's
Side
cheesy and like I hate it.
Did you guys see that the guy who plays Urkel and Snoop Dogg made a weed purple Urkel?
It's gonna be fantastic.
It's just funny.
And he's going to be up at Canal Park this summer.
Purple Urkel or Snoop?
Urkel will.
Oh, I don't care about Urkel.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Do you watch any UFC or boxing? Cullen?
Not at all.
Fan of the Pauls?
No, I am not.
Yeah. Most people don't like the arrogance.
Cleveland doesn't claim them. They're not from Cleveland either. They're from some
outer was there with him.
They're from some outer suburb or some shit.
Hey man, he got some Cleveland fans. Look,
we don't claim that dude.
I am just one to give people credit where it's due. He's putting in the work. He is talking a lot of shit and he is a bum, but he is actually putting in the work to try and become a boxer. And I give him credit for that. And the dude's hustling. He's making a shit ton of money, and I can't knock him for it. Do it.
Oh
no, he's a YouTube personality, and he's just exploiting it. He's making a ton of money, and
he's a fucking grifter, bro. He's not a hustler. He's a grifter. There's a difference.
That's why I said if Connor came knocking on his door tomorrow, he would have signed 5 hours ago.
Yeah, bro.
He would take that paycheck.
Absolutely.
He would get knocked
too.
For 10. Yeah, hell, I would too. For $10 million, I will get knocked out on live TV.
Yep. One good hit.
We've talked about this before.
No.
$10 million, I'll take it.
Jeez.
I'll talk so much crap beforehand too. I'll hype that fight up so bad.
Knock me out, bitch.
Hit me hard.
Yep.
Goodness.
Well, fuck you up.
I love Connor.
You're fucking right.
You're fucking right.
Goodness.
Ding, ding.
The new heavyweight champion. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Get your feet off the fucking bar.
Can't, bro. Oh my God. The only thing I got left for sports is the Bengals released their brand new uniforms. And I think that some of them are really nice.
I like the black one.
I've always been a fan of the Bengals uniforms to begin with.
I'm done. I quit.
I've always been a fan of the Bengals jerseys in general. But these new ones are really nice. They're like a modern touch. They got the whole. We got to pause. Are we good?
You're good.
Okay. So, if you haven't seen them, there's like 6 or 7 different iterations that they have. They've got some all blacks. They've got orange. They've got white. They've got, you know, the stripes are on all of them. My question to you guys is, and I didn't specify this in the thing, so it's okay if you didn't choose just football. But favorite jerseys in sports history. Specific focus on the NFL, but if you have any other sports you want to choose, you can go for that as well. Let's do like top 3 unless you have more that you chose.
I think that's asking a lot. Let's just do top 1.
Yeah, I kind of.
What's your top 1, Ryan?
The Steelers Bumblebees with the tan pants.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I love the Steelers.
Those are your favorites. Those are one of the worst jerseys
I love
ever,
it
bro.
with the tan pants, not the white, but they're like that cream colored. I love that uniform.
I don't know
They
if
look
I've
like
ever
they
seen
just
the
got
tan
out of
band.
prison.
I like those old retro uniforms a lot.
I mean, I do
love
too,
them.
but those ones are
You hate the Steelers.
awful.
They've been the dopest uniform
But they're
ever.
so awful. They're no, because I think that the classic Steelers uniform is an iconic uniform.
When I play Madden, that's the uniform I put on.
Ugh.
They call
Do
him.
you like that uniform?
That's my second. My first.
He's a
is actually,
Steelers fan also. That's why we put him on the chair with us.
My first one actually would be the like with the old Brownies logo on it, like back in the day.
Yeah.
I love the old logo for the Browns, even though I hate the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like the Bumblebees. I like their classic uniforms. I really do. Like with the logo on the one side of the helmet, it's unique, it's classic, it's old school. I hate the Bumblebees.
I don't have any. I have one jersey. It's Kevin Love, but I want one of those Bumblebees real bad. I would rock that. Chris?
I've got kind of a tie for football. So I love the old Raiders jerseys, just that black and silver kind of look.
Raiders
I think that's
classic.
really stylish. But I also like the 90s 49ers, and they've got like the shadow numbers on them. If they ever deviate from that, like they brought them back last year, if they ever deviate from that again, I would say don't go to the games. Like those are the jerseys that should be the Niners jerseys.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah. My favorite are always going to be the powder blue Chargers. I don't think anything's better than that.
Those are cool, yeah.
I do like the classic Dolphins, that teal with the old logo.
I do like those.
Those ones are really, really nice.
Trying to picture that.
Some other ones, I think the classic Browns are great. I think the ones that we have right now are the closest that we've ever had to that. Those mid 2000s ones are really good too, like the Peyton Hillis days. Those jerseys were just fucking clean. They were so nice. A lot of people like the creamsicle Buccaneers, and I can't stand it.
Oh,
They're
yeah. I
awful.
think that's the worst one.
I had to pull up lists because I was like, I can't think of all these jerseys. Let me just see what all's out there and everything. And that's on every single list. That and the classic Broncos with the blue and orange, which is also awful.
Trash.
It's terrible.
Their 90s I thought are okay. The
90s were okay.
Like Terrell Davis.
Yeah. I liked the Seahawks when they introduced the neon green. I really like those ones as like a modern version. But as far as like classic looks, I don't think you can get much better than like classic Green Bay.
Yeah.
I like the Bears, classic
Bears.
uniforms.
I'll give you Bears. I hate Green Bay so bad.
Yeah. I'm not a big Green Bay fan anymore, but
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
I hate Aaron Rodgers. I don't hate Green Bay. I was a huge Green Bay was my second favorite team my whole life. Dude, Brett Favre.
You just called me out for Jacksonville.
Brett Favre. Titletown, baby. Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers is an asshole. That's the only reason why they're not my second favorite team anymore. I can't stand Rodgers.
His own family won't talk to him.
Exactly. But Brett Favre, he was great. Now he's getting a little bit, racist in his old age and stuff. But, I didn't know that at the time when he was slinging balls, breaking people's thumbs and spinning them in the air. He was great. He was fantastic to watch.
Jeez.
But yeah.
I like those Patriots ones too, with the Patriot on the shoulder, like the blue
throwbacks.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Those are pretty nice. Powder blue Oilers were nice back in the day.
Yeah.
Those ones were good.
Warren Moon, man.
I'm trying to think of what else is even out there that's like classic, like iconic. Raiders is good. That's a classic jersey.
That's my go-to.
That'll live forever.
Yeah, I like that.
Cullen, favorite jersey? Any particular?
I love the Bumblebee costume. Like I said, uniform. But
they're not costumes, Cullen.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they might as well be.
And then I love the classic Browns look. I had like back in the day when they had the old logo. I thought that was really cool. All black Atlanta Falcons. That's another one I really like.
That is a good one. They brought that back for like that Super Bowl season in the '98, I think it was, against the Broncos.
They used them as a throwback color rush a couple years ago too. And Julio in all black was just he went off that day. It was so nice.
The blackout Buckeyes.
The blackout Buckeyes are nice with the red Buckeye sticker.
So dope.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna go college, Jesus.
So I know, but those just when you said the black, it reminded me of those. And those and the even going even lower was when LeBron released the Nike St. V uniforms.
Yeah,
and those were
sick.
so dope.
Yeah, I just saw that on a Facebook auction today. Somebody was selling it for like $15.
You know what college uniform I love that everybody hates? The Maryland with the double-sided helmet with the flag icons.
I know what you're talking about.
love that.
It looks like 50 different flags.
It's
like
so
mixed
good.
together.
That's their state flag.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's all that I got for sports. There's not a lot going on. Next week, we'll be doing a little draft prep. I'm thinking, so for you guys, be thinking about a mock draft.
Cool.
We'll mock top 10 tip picks because we're not going to be able to do the whole entire thing for sure. And then keep in mind who you want your team to pick and who you think they will pick.
Defense.
Anybody on the defensive side,
Jesus.
just throw a dart.
Any top 10 player in the defense.
Jeez.
But yeah, we'll be doing some draft prep, a little bit of fantasy news going in for the draft. That'll probably be it unless something crazy happens this week.
Cool. All right, let's get social.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes. The news is off the chain lately in normal fucking COVID fashion. Shit is crazy. I feel like over the last 3 to 4 weeks, every episode, I've had something that would just feed the QAnon idiots and stuff. And I've got another one this week. Walgreens was administering saline instead of COVID vaccines.
Really?
Yes.
Monroe, North Carolina, where I vacation every year.
Yeah.
Like one place did it, or
I don't know. Walgreens as a company came out and stated, like, admitted to the fact that they were giving people saline instead of the COVID vaccine.
I would sue the shit out of them if I got that shot.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit that just drives these naysayers and stuff to just think it's all fucking just
how do you
joke and shit.
How do you do that? How are they facing like legal ramifications for that?
I mean, you can't get sick from saline. All it is gonna hydrate
You're
you.
falsifying government documentation.
Well, I don't know if it was intentional.
How do you accidentally? It says fucking Moderna or Pfizer on the glass vial.
What if you're allergic to saline?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. By all means, it's a big deal. But I mean, I don't know, man.
I didn't see that in the notes.
Yeah. Yep. Walgreens was giving people saline.
Yeah, Monroe was the specific one in North Carolina. And I've been in that one several times.
Well, you didn't actually get the COVID shot, so you might want to double check yourself then. You got saline. I just wanted to touch on that because I'm like, every week I feel like I've had something that's come up where it's just like
they're going to get destroyed. If I got that shot and then I caught COVID,
oh, I know, right?
I am going to sue you for millions.
All they're going to say is, well, it's not 100% effective.
Yep, 5%.
You gave me saline and I went out unprotected because of your falsified information.
Yeah, you'd have to
and
be
you
able
signed
to,
my CDC card.
You obviously have to be able to prove it. You were one of the ones that got it. I don't know how you figured that out, but anyways, Walgreens, you fucked up. Make it right.
That's so bad.
That's awful.
That makes me so mad.
When are you going to get it?
I'm not. I mean, I already got saline plenty of times, so I guess I'm okay. I'm vaccinated at this point.
We should riot and burn down a Walgreens.
Jesus, man.
I don't care.
You jumped a few divisions there, didn't you?
I don't care. Throw the Molotovs through the windows. You're messing with people's health. Mess with your lives.
Another COVID related quick discussion is, so last year when COVID was like running rampant and most places were quarantined and shut down and people were staying home and work was closed and stuff like that, shootings and stuff dwindled.
Yeah. Like
for the most part, we were having conversations like, oh man, there hasn't really been anything, no mass shootings. There hasn't been a lot of like police brutality type shootings. We had George Floyd, we had Ahmaud Arbery and stuff, but it was minimal.
Yeah.
Things are starting to loosen up again. And now shootings are fucking rocketing again. Correlation. And because people are out and about more, places are back open. We had, I mean, not that it's related to COVID or anything, but like we didn't have any big shootings last year. And now we've had the FedEx one. We had the Austin, Texas one. We've had several like police involved shootings recently.
Pump the brakes real quick. Because that's one thing. I saw a lot of people saying like there were no mass shootings last year. And I looked it up. There were quite a bit. They just weren't reported on.
Okay.
So I do believe that we've already got more than we had last year, but there were still a large amount of mass shootings last year. We just didn't hear about them because nobody cared about that news. Everybody cared about COVID.
Makes sense. So that actually ties.
But we do still have way more going on so far this year. Like not to take away from the conversation.
Yeah, no, that ties perfect into my next topic. But do you guys find it? So I guess that would kind of diminish the argument. I mean, my thing was kind of like, it seems like we've had a lot more, and I didn't know if that was any correlation to the fact that like people are out and about more, people are back to normal lives and normal activities, so they're around people more often, or is it just coincidental, because there's just been a lot more going on where it's like, I'm not just talking like police involved, but like at bars or at clubs, the FedEx one, things like that. Like recently there's been a lot, it seems like, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on that we're back to this trend again, like that we're running down this road again?
I just think it's a combination of a lot of things. So like obviously the stress from, you know, the fact that we're still dealing with this shit, and you know, people who don't believe in masks, they don't believe in everything that's going on, you know, maybe they're going into stores and they've got a shorter fuse, you know. It's a lot of things going on, like the divide, the general divide with everything right now, whether it's political, you know, apolitical, don't matter. I just feel like everybody's on edge, and you know, there seems to be no relief in sight. There's no promise in sight.
Yeah.
So
well, we talked about last week, I think it was last week, we talked about CTE.
Yes.
And we were kind of talking about the debate on like CTE or mental illness and how that plays a part in when these things happen.
I think we've had 3 shootings since last week.
Yeah, we have. And with both of the Austin one and the FedEx one, they're both kind of seeming like they're going down that mental health issue route. Like the FedEx one, the family's stating that they tried getting him help, like they knew that there was things going on and they were trying to like fix it. And I don't know what happened, but anyways, I don't know what the hell we do. It's so frustrating when this continues to happen. And I thought we kind of slowed. Obviously not.
Well, if you're QAnon, you could just say that the Democrats are doing it, and that you know they're the ones that are shooting everybody just to get these gun laws enacted.
It's Biden. Yep. But to your point with the news not reporting on stuff last year, or like reporting what they wanted to, one of the other things I had on here is the media's involvement in the division of the country and kind of how they force their headlines or like what they report to. I mean, I don't want to irresponsibly, I guess. Not that they're necessarily, I mean, we know that they're doing it for clickbait. We know that they're trying to generate clicks because that's how they make money. But when does it come to a point where it's irresponsible? There was a couple. One was the WKYC thing that I shared on Facebook.
That's a big one.
And that one was they shared
air freshener.
They shared the article about the killing that just happened in where George Floyd was killed. And the tagline was something like mirror air freshener.
People are using air fresheners as like a sign of protest or something
against him. And that was like a very minimal part in anything to do with his getting pulled over. He had an air freshener hanging from his window, which is apparently illegal there.
Yeah.
But he was pulled over because he had a warrant and he had expired tags on his vehicle. It just seems so ridiculous to spin the story that way. Could it get people to click it? Because they're like, what do you mean air freshener is a sign of protest now? But even more than that, this one pissed me off. And there was one about 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember what it was. But I was going through articles today trying to find topics to talk about. And there was a shooting at McDonald's. I don't remember the state. It's irrelevant. But there was a shooting there where there was a guy in a drive-thru and a couple of people got out of a car and shot at a guy and his daughter was in the car. That's the article. Cool. Tell that story. Click the link. The video at the top, the whole top page before you even see the article,
I bet I know,
is a video of that shooting of the 13-year-old kid.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How is it any bit related? Why is that video the header to an article about a completely unrelated shooting?
Mm-hmm.
And like there was another one that happened about 2 weeks ago with the same thing. It was an article about someone that got shot and killed, but the picture that they had was like a completely unrelated shooting to like get people to click it. It was like a YouTube thing or something.
I remember you posting about that, but I can't remember what it was.
It's just like that shit just bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think
I just get irritated with that kind of shit. I'm like, do your job. Tell the news. We get that that's what you're here for, but why do we have to spin it? I think it has a negative correlation to the real story. I think if you're talking about someone who died, like talk about the person that died. Like when you tie it to something else completely unrelated, I think you take away from like what's really happening and the importance of like what happened to them.
Yeah. The problem is when you value clickbaiting over the truth, that's when, you know, the importance of the article gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
Well, and the problem is like a lot of these articles, even are truthful. Like that article probably had all the accurate information, but they put this other stuff around it.
It's just not important anymore.
Like, or they tweak the title in a way. Like I'll read a title of an article and be like, okay, so that's clearly not what happened. Let me read the article. And the article's accurate, but the clickbait was there to get you.
That's my
The problem is nobody reads the articles anymore. And they know this, but they get the click really quickly. And then the person doesn't think to read it. They get the quick, easy money. And that's where they go. And news needs to be more responsible than that, because it used to be the problem was that they twisted everything. And you have that issue still with like biased news sources. Like I don't watch Fox or CNN because they're both incredibly biased on both sides. But like when you get these local news stations like WKYC or, you know, the Plain Dealer or, you know, whatever, they're going to do whatever they can as a small place to come up with a potential motive or implication where you're not technically lying, but you're going to go from there. And it's just going to be, it's just,
they just want more.
They'll paint the picture, whatever it is. Like Ryan, you do, you know, all this stuff. You got your photography of this and that. Like you've said though, in the past that you gotten, I don't know, you got arrested for something at some point when you were younger or something, right? Allegedly. But like if something happened to you, they wouldn't talk about really nice Made to Motivate podcast, photographer, you know, whatever.
Of course.
They're going to say former felon got shot for something. And even if it was like a carjacking that had nothing to do with you, it's going to imply in that. And people are going to be like, well, that Ryan Weiss guy, he was a felon. They're not going to read and find out what happened. They're just going to be like, he was probably deserved. He was probably doing something illegal.
Well, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, my theory is just that the news is around anymore just to anger people. And I get this because I watch my mom sit in front of the TV and I hear her and how angry she gets. And she's actually talking to the TV at certain points with things she doesn't agree with. And I always tell her, I'm like, stop watching it. Stop it.
2 points to Jesse's point about people don't read the articles. Yeah, the article is truthful. And if you read it, you'd get all the information. 2 problems. One, I had this exact same argument with a local online news source, and they shared the DMX had died prior to him actually dying. And I commented and I said, what's your source? I think anytime you post an article about someone dying, you should source it in the article, not source it or we heard from a source, whatever. Anyways, besides the point,
it's just wanting to be first.
But I commented on it and I said, hey, you know, I think that when it comes to someone's death, that's not something where we have the ability to kind of be loose with it. We need to have facts. We need to share a source. It's irresponsible. And they said, well, had you read the comments, you would have seen that, you know, we corrected ourselves. To Jesse's point, people don't read that. They read the headline.
You need to update your headline.
I wasn't going to read 72 comments to find out that they posted an update in there with the link. It's just like when people share something on Facebook, they see the article and they're like, oh, I want to share that because it seems interesting and people will probably like it or like share it also. And it's going to get me people to look at my page. They don't read the article. They see the title that says, oh, man was killed, whatever.
Well, people don't follow up either. Like when Kobe died, the initial report was that he died in a helicopter crash. And then the second one was that all of his daughters were on board.
Right.
And
once that main article
they put on there that says, you know, story is still developing.
Nobody goes back.
Nobody goes back and watches it. People thought forever that they were all dead. And it wasn't until days later when the final report came out, that was Kobe Bryant. If it wasn't Kobe Bryant, there's not going to be anybody reading up on the follow report. They're going to be going, oh, okay. Like the guy who was shot in the McDonald's near us. I went to school with the guy, real nice guy.
My friend's cousin.
I still don't know what happened to him. I've heard that the guy completely unloaded the gun on him. I've heard that it was a shot. I've heard that they, you know, had a confrontation over work. I've heard that it was other things outside of work. Like I have no reason to know. I don't know the motive. I don't know anything. And nobody's followed up on the story. Nobody's put any additional information.
They got their headline out. There was a man killed, shot at a McDonald's. They got their clicks and they move on to the next thing. So basically, Colin, what we're saying is if you want YouTube and Twitch followers, just title your stream "Man shot at McDonald's" and then start playing video games, and you'll get a ton of people to click on there, and you'll
never believe what I pulled off in Warzone. And then it's just like, oh, he just won. It was a pretty basic win. I don't know. It wasn't anything crazy. Okay, I guess it's nice.
I shot and killed a bunch of men out in the woods.
A bunch of men.
It's a Warzone video. I don't know. That's how you get shit. And it's just certain things you can let it fly, but I think when it's like people's lives and stuff, it's just irresponsible. And I don't know.
And it's all based on the clicks. Like everything is devised 100%. That way. When I did all my stuff with SI, like that was their main thing was this, we're going to give you the title because we've researched a way for you to get it. And that's why I couldn't write anything that I wanted to write, because even though I wanted to do something that was maybe like breaking up on like a in-depth look at the Patriots and how I don't believe that they've ever cheated, which is an article that I've done myself, they wouldn't do that because it's not a keyword top 10 or best ever or this. Like, they're very specific and centric to certain terms so that they get the clicks, so that they get the money, and that's how everything is done.
They're not selling newspapers and stuff anymore. They got to sell clicks to get advertisers on their page.
When you're a 24-hour news station now, like before, back in the day, but even back in the 90s, like that was when those 24-hour news stations really started taking on. But like, you had 60 Minutes. Once a day, every night, and they covered all the news, and that's what you had. Now, there's none of that
all
anymore.
Day.
You got news at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 4 a.m. Anytime something happens, I'll get updates on news at 4 a.m.
all the time.
When I wake up in the morning, I'll go, oh, damn, this happened. You can't keep up. You have to make clickbait in order to keep your revenue stream going, because nobody wants to keep up with all that stuff. I've got 50 articles on the Derek Chauvin closing arguments case today because they broke up every word they said into a whole article. And the articles are 2 paragraphs big with no information at all, but they got the headline out for people to click and go, okay, I'm going to stay tuned so that in case something happens, click.
Can I play something that's about 40 seconds long?
Do it.
I always like this quote, and it pertains to this particular argument.
Absolutely.
This is from Denzel Washington. He was asked this on the red carpet for Fences. And
moving on to the next
just play
topic.
this real quick. Go ahead.
There's been a lot of buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh, yeah. What'd they say? I was running for president. No, I voted. No, what'd they say?
You switched your support.
I switched.
Yeah. What do you make of all the fake news that it affects?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
That is a good quote.
Wow. I like it. He should have stuck to that. That awful movie.
Why do I do this to myself?
Speaking of news article updates about the Chauvin case.
Yeah.
They did closing arguments and things today. Have we gotten any updates on? I know they're deliberating, and that's where we're at this point. That's the next step, is them coming back and saying, guilty, not guilty on the 5 or 6 different charges they're holding him against. What are your guys' thoughts on did anybody watch the closing arguments, or at least check in on them?
I checked out a review of it.
I watched the defense. I didn't want to. Prosecution's already done their job in my eyes, so I wanted to see what they came back to say.
Thoughts on where you think the case is going to go? From what I've clicked through, I haven't been able to sit down and watch it. I've just been reading article updates and things like that. And some of the things I've seen, where I'm struggling with is getting a concise decisioning on it, because it seems like so much mixed information from different specialists or doctor. There was one doctor that stated when they tested him, he had like 98% oxygen level. So obviously he didn't suffocate, but then there was another doctor saying that even a healthy person held under those circumstances would suffocate. And then there's the mixed autopsy report saying he had drugs or he did
that. Was the thing about the defense today, because they did their closing arguments. And I thought he kind of shot himself in the foot in a couple places. Because he brings that point up and he's like, it's up to you guys to siphon through the information and find the truth. And he was trying to make it seem like, even though they made a really good case, you got to look at it and piece it together to find the truth that this guy's innocent. And that's what his point was. But he even brought up the 98% because he was like, well, then they tried to resuscitate him in the ambulance, so they have a machine breathing for you, and obviously your oxygen levels would then be high, and he brought that up.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, so you're basically saying that he very well could have suffocated, and they had to oxygen, like that part was helping you,
they
dumbass.
Filled his lungs with oxygen by trying to resuscitate him, basically.
The only thing that worries me is we realize that. I hope the jury realizes that.
That's what it comes down to, and that's where I'm kind of scared, is that they all have to agree. And I guess my main question, because we could talk about this for a really long time, and maybe next week we get into more in depth. By then we'll hardly have an answer,
probably.
But one of my questions really is like, as a juror, I know that they're closed off from the media and stuff during it. Like they can't watch the news and stuff, but this is a year later. They know the implications it had. They know what the quote unquote people want. They know what the people think is the right decision and what should come of this. What part of that do you think plays in their mind when they're sitting in that room with each other debating on what he's guilty for, and they're filtering through these statements and this evidence, and they're saying, okay, he could be guilty, but I don't know, maybe he's not. But we know that if we tell he's not guilty, the world's going to crumble. You're not supposed to take outside stuff into your decision making. How could you not in this level? And like, we know what if he comes off not guilty, we know what that means. Do you think as a juror that weighs at any weighs them one direction or another, or has any implication on what they decide?
I think so. I know what my man over here is going to say, and I know, to basically sum it up, is that, you know, when you're a juror, you have to have a clear and, you know, unbiased opinion. Basically, you have to explore all the facts. You have to see everything that's in front of you, the evidence that is presented. For this case in particular, why I think that doesn't apply as strongly is because of everything you mentioned. So like, there is the conscience of an environment surrounding this case, and it's more prominent in this one than it has ever been. I think in any case ever, personally, because of the timing of it.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know about ever, but it's right there with Rodney King.
Yeah. Well,
because you have video evidence of the entire ordeal.
I just think there's all that, and you're stacking on another, what was it, 30 years on top of it.
Yeah.
So like,
I think this is the biggest, if it's not the biggest, then that's it.
Yeah. So basically, I think I don't think it's possible to go into that deliberation room and, you know, to not have that weighing on your conscience. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
Because to me, look, you guys are going to have a result maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, whenever, but this city, if you are not careful for something that was presented as clear as day on camera, if you are not careful, you will probably contribute to the responsibility of the city burning.
That's my thing. And that's where I'm like, even as a juror trying to do the right thing, like I didn't watch it all. And I think he's guilty, and I think he needs to go to jail. And I think he's guilty on all charges, but take that aside. I'm, play devil's advocate. I haven't watched it. I'm a juror in there. I sat through it all day, every day. I heard every ounce of evidence. I heard every speech, and I'm sitting in that room and I'm like, I don't think he did it. But I know that if I come out and say that, I know what that means. I know that now I'm going to be looked at as a racist, or I'm going to look like I'm not holding them accountable. It's public. People know who these jurors are. You know that your life is potentially in danger after that. I mean, I don't envy them by any means. And I feel like here's my thing. How do you, I guess where I struggle with it is like, to get a fair trial, how do you get a completely unbiased juror or jury selection that isn't going to have any of that weight burning down on them when they're going to decide whether or not this man is guilty or not?
I guess you have to think about the civil rights cases, that Black people faced in like places like Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. Were they able to receive a fair, trial?
Right.
I guess this is now the contradiction of that. The exact opposite is Derek Chauvin able to receive a fair trial despite everything about him that's been documented?
Exactly. And my issue with it is just because we haven't. It'd be one thing if everything presented, which probably rarely happens, but everything presented was concise. All the doctors that said what happened was the same. All the autopsy reports were the same. But because it's mixed, we're leaving it to the jury to, like what Jesse said in the defense, to weed through it all and decide what is the truth. Well, you're going to have that overwhelming burden weighing down on you that's going to sway you one way over the other, I feel like.
I don't think that it's ever like
concise.
No, I don't think that a jury's ever completely unbiased. I think the job of the vetting service is to find people who are going to do what they believe is right by the law over anything else.
Makes sense.
So they need to know that your racism is not going to change that. They need to know that your love of police officers is not going to change that. They need to know that your hate of police officers is not going to change that.
You're saying the screening process,
the screening process that goes into it. So I've never made it to that point. Every time I've had jury duty, I either didn't have to show, or I had something that was able to get me out of it. Like I was graduating from college or doing student teaching or something like that. I know, like my friend Peggy that I work with, she got screened one time and they asked her, she ended up having to go on the trial, but during her screening, they asked her, do you think the police officers can lie? And she said, of course they can lie. Anybody can lie. And she's like, I don't know if that was the answer that got me kicked off. I don't know if that was something that they felt I answered correctly and maybe something else was off of there. But there's questions like that where I don't think that that's a wrong answer.
It's no, everybody can lie.
And I don't think that that necessarily shows bias. I think she answered that correctly. You know, if she'd have been like, yeah, those pigs lie all the time, obviously she got canned. Or if she said no, she probably could have got canned for that too.
Right.
But like, they do a lot of screening to get to this point. So I think that I think they do it in a way where we all have our biases.
Of course.
Everybody has their biases. Like Chris has made it clear that he has major problems with how police function in this country. Do I think that he could make it onto a court? I do. Especially even in this case, I think that if they came with the evidence that said, look, this dude had X amount of carbon monoxide, because that's the thing they kept bringing up. If they had X amount of carbon monoxide in his lungs, that shows that it was 3 times higher than the necessary need to suffocate him. You know, we proved that there wasn't that much pressure somehow on his neck, and they showed all this stuff. None of this happened, but let's say that it did. I believe that Chris, even with his biases and his beliefs, would say, I have a reasonable doubt and I can't convict this man.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, you're answering questions, you know, when they're told to you, say pre-trial, before you even get selected, that you have a certain opinion that George Floyd was in the right and this officer was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And then you get selected to be in this trial and all that.
Yeah.
Going into your mentality and you go like, I'm going to fucking ruin things for this officer.
Yeah.
You act like the perfect juror when you're sitting there. I know they say you're under oath or whatever. Some people don't care about that though.
Yeah.
They don't care. They will lie on the stand and on, you know,
but they will take things that you say during that trial. They will take things that are from your social media.
Yep.
I mean, it is hard to
On
get
a
away with
these
that
days.
stuff
It probably would be
nowadays.
tougher. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go to your Facebook and go, maybe we shouldn't put this guy on here, even though he answered everything right. Like
block him.
Exactly. So, and the same thing is maybe your Facebook's squeaky clean and maybe you get in there and that is your intention. The second that you say something that's out of line, that shows your biased implication, they will bring in that alternate juror so quickly and boot you out.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think A Time to Kill did this perfectly when they were doing jury selection. So they're going back and forth and they go like, you have to discredit 3 jurors and all that. And they're asking them questions and they're looking and they're kind of stereotyping too. So they see like an old white man. So Jake Berganza's team, who's Matthew McConaughey, he goes, nah, he's discredited.
Who?
McConaughey.
Jesse?
McConaughey.
It's not McConaughey. It's McConaughey.
I know. I had a clip.
Chris.
Don't knock down the TIE fighter.
But because, you know, it's an old white guy and he probably grew up with racism and in the South and all that, they discredit him. That's a true thing. You don't even have to talk. I mean, it could just be an appearance. They look at you and they go, well, I see that guy and he's obviously not going to be for us.
Yeah. It's a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Cullen, any thoughts? Have you been following the case?
I don't.
George Floyd, Derek Chauvin.
Not a news guy.
A lot of news stuff.
Look, honestly,
fair enough.
If it wasn't for this show, I probably wouldn't follow it as closely. But it's one of the things we enjoy talking.
I follow it all the time.
We talk about for the.
I'm arguing with people every day.
It's depressing to me for the most part because it's the same thing over and over and over again, and it's hard to continue to watch it with no change coming from it. So, but having watched it all, what do you before we sign off, what do you guys think ends up becoming the verdict from this? Chris, Jesse?
I think he's guilty on all.
What do you think that it will come? Not what you think.
No,
what do you think will happen?
I think that will come. I think that I think the prosecution has destroyed him.
Okay.
I think that the evidence has always been on the side of George Floyd, but even aside from the evidence, just from a standpoint of the same reason why you have a defendant show up in a suit because of appearances, that stuff goes a long way. The prosecution has been a much better speaker during this entire thing, has been much more emotionally charged, has been able to present the facts far more powerfully than the defense has. That guy's been fumbling over his words. He doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Not saying that he doesn't know what he's doing, but appearances matter. That's why JFK went up with makeup on while Nixon was sweating like a pig.
Yeah.
Appearances matter.
Great point.
They don't look like they're in the right position. They don't look like they think that they're winning. They don't look like they're confident. And the prosecution does. And when you mix that with all of this evidence and all of these witnesses who have been on the side of the prosecution, I think he's going to fry.
I mean, what harder job than to be the defense attorney knowing that like the person's guilty and like committed an awful crime, and you have to try and prove that they were innocent or prove that what they did was within cause.
That's why a defense is the hardest lawyer. Like, it's the most difficult task.
Awful job.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Chris? What do you think realistically comes of it?
I think everything Jesse said is perfectly put. As far as, you know, to me, yes, he's guilty. But that all aside, the question is, do I think the jurors are going to find him guilty?
Yeah.
I would like to say I'm about 70% confident that they are going to find him guilty. The other 30, you know, I point to cases like Casey Anthony, and I point to other famous American blunders where, you know, everything was so obvious and right in front of them and they got it wrong.
Casey Anthony was a bad one.
Yeah. So like, to me, I would like to think that, you know, bias or not, that these people know the responsibility that is in front of them. You know, it is. So here's the thing, whether they like it or not, if they find him guilty, they have done their best to divert a history of violence.
Mm-hmm.
If they find him innocent, they are adding to the problem. They're contributing to the problem. They have said that whatever has happened, it's okay.
Yeah.
You are continuing that pattern.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that weighs heavy, whether we believe it or not. 70% of me says I think they're going to do the right thing.
Yeah. I'm going to preface this again by saying I think he's guilty on all charges, but I don't think that's what he gets. I'm with you to an extent. I don't know if it's 70-30. It might be 60-40. I think he's going to get a verdict of guilty on some charges. I don't think he's going to be found guilty on the murder. I think he might get manslaughter. I don't think he gets the second degree involuntary. I struggle with some of the things that I saw. I'm hoping that they see through it, but I struggle with some of the misconstrued information or information that was said one way and said a different way, and them 100% coming to the table with no doubts that he intentionally did it. And to get murder, I think that's what they need to know, that he intentionally killed him knowingly. And I don't see it. I think he's going to get manslaughter, meaning that his actions played a role in him dying, but he didn't murder him. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, to be murder, he had to have knowingly killed him. Doesn't have to be premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
It could be he was in a fight and he murdered him. Manslaughter means your actions played a part in them dying, but you didn't actually kill the person. You know, you were driving drunk, you got in a car accident with somebody and they died. You might get
the argument comes down to whether or not he knew that he was being incredibly negligent with the 9 minutes on his neck. And that's where the second degree will come into play, because at that point he caused the murder.
Yep. And my concern is the jury. My concern is the jury 100% saying, I know he did it intentionally, when you have to step back and think. Now, again, I'm just playing when I think it's going through their mind, but you know you're being watched by millions of people, 40 cell phones surrounded by you, body cams. You know you're being watched. Are you going to sit there and intentionally kill someone? And can we prove?
And that's what the defense said today.
Can we prove that he intentionally didn't, knowing he was being watched, murder someone? Is he ignorant enough to think, well, I'm a cop, I'm going to get away with it? Or did he really truly not believe he was intending to kill him? He really thought he was restraining him. Can the jury come to the table with 100% no doubt in their mind that he murdered that man? And I'm worried that they don't. Granted, I don't know if they go manslaughter, what that means, difference in term. I mean,
I just saw it today. If he gets the second degree, faces up to, at the maximum, I believe, 50 years.
So his life's over.
That's the max. That doesn't mean that he'll get 50 years, but that's the max. The manslaughter, I believe, is 15. One of them was 25. I don't remember which one. Like, there's different degrees that they've been brought.
Yeah.
So
ultimately,
because there's a third degree murder, I think is 25. The manslaughter is 15, and it goes all the way down. I think he's facing 5 at the max for the lowest thing.
Yeah.
I guess to me, what's considered victory for the family? So like, you know, you said, yeah, he's guilty, but he's only guilty of so much. And then, you know, we kind of said everything.
I don't think unless he gets murder that it's justice to them. Because I think that
takes away his intentions that they
Exactly.
believe were there.
Yeah. Okay. I think that they need the justice of knowing that George was murdered by police negligence or police brutality, whatever you want to call it. And if he gets manslaughter, to them, it's just like it was an accident. It was partially George's fault. and that the police officer just played a part in that. And I don't think, for me, if it was me, that I would feel closure or that he was held accountable for his actions with that charge.
So it's all or
he
nothing.
needs murder. I don't even think as society we will be satisfied unless he's guilty on all charges.
Yeah.
I don't think people will be. I think it will be a slap on the wrist if he gets the manslaughter. I don't think anyone will be. The majority of people that are for the case will feel satisfied with that.
Because 15 years for a life, man. Yeesh.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. By next week, we should, I would assume by next week. I think honestly, the next couple of days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we'll follow up and we can talk about it a little bit more next week. That's all I really had for Let's Get Social. Anything else from you guys for the show? Go to the group.
We were originally going to talk about crypto more in depth, but
Yes.
that's something that we can do at another time. But just so people know, Safe Moons made $40 during the time of this episode. So feel free to buy and go to the moon with me.
The cryptocurrency extravaganza. We will talk about more. Jesse kind of hit on in the intro, but maybe we can prepare a little bit more details for next week and talk numbers and things like that.
Hells yeah.
Cool.
I want to get rich by Safe Moon.
I want to thank our awesome guest.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Let's do last little shout outs. Anything you want to plug one more time? YouTube?
Yeah,
Twitch?
hit us with your Twitch, your YouTube, any other handles that you have.
It's Akran_Deadshot for Twitch, and this is Deadshot for YouTube. And you can follow Hyped Esports on YouTube as well.
Perfect. We'll put all that information in the show info
you.
as well, so you can click links and everything like that. Give Cullen's Twitch a follow. Maybe you'll hear some angry Cullen. You might get the subtle Cullen. I don't know, but
it's usually me doing all the cussing on the Twitch. It's always Cullen like super chill. I'm like, yeah, fuck you,
very
bitch.
true.
Like,
if you hear the really ignorant, loud person, it's Jesse because he's drunk. So
I do drink while we play. It makes me better.
yeah. All right, y'all. That's the show for you. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Unk SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.